welcome back to Partners and Crime. My name is Poppy.
And my name is Roger.
So I don't know, that's fine.
Just welcoming you to part 2 of this video. This is a longer stint than the first one, so just to warn you. But hopefully you find it interesting, and let's go on with the content.
So the next day, Sarah comes into the police station. I believe the detectives are the ones that called her in. She didn't just kind of like
Rock up.
arrive.
Yeah.
So we've got some more clips for you. This is a very long video. So I obviously won't be showing you all of it. But we'll link it in the description so you can watch it if you want. It's like 2 hours long.
This morning we went to his autopsy, and we were informed of some injuries that he has by the doctor. So so he's got scratch marks to his back.
I know what that's from.
Okay. And it's called a contusion. Do you know what a contusion is? So like basically you're getting hit and then you get a mark from it. You'll get bruising. Like someone hit you or something like that. It's called a contusion. So he had some injuries to his left shoulder. He had a cut near his lip. We could see his mouth was a little
I haven't laid a
swollen.
hand on him.
Okay.
Also too, he fell off my son's bike.
Okay.
So I don't know, and he's notorious for running into the wall or the hall tree.
Okay.
So
Okay. What about the scratches?
Sex.
Because there's also sex.
Yes.
Okay. Because there's also like a scratch on the back of his neck, kind of going, but it's going straight across.
I have no idea what that's from.
And they're all recent. They occurred recently. It wasn't something that occurred post or that occurred a week ago or 2 days ago, 3 days ago. They definitely occurred, the night leading up to when he was.
In all honesty, we have not gotten into it.
Okay.
That's why, the only thing I thought you guys were going to ask me about, which I was going to be honest with you anyway, are the scratch marks on his back.
Mhm.
Everything else, I have no idea what it is. No idea what it is. Nonetheless, I've had my son over the house, too, so.
Well, your son was there when? When was he last there?
Oh, gosh.
From my understanding, he was there, last Tuesday?
I don't know if it was Tuesday, but yes, he was there last week, so.
Well, we're talking about Sunday.
Yeah.
We're just talking about what occurred Sunday.
Okay. Injuries. So, scratch marks on the back, sex, fine. That's explainable. Contusions, bruises, bit weird.
Very suspicious.
Cut on lip, bit weird.
Did you
Funny.
see what she...
Well, she was adamant very quickly. I didn't do it.
I know, interrupting her, going,
yeah,
I never touched him.
Yeah, stuff like that.
I never touched him.
Well,
again, I'm convinced.
Yeah, exactly. And her explanations for him having the contusions and stuff, riding her son's bike and walking into walls.
He's notorious for walking into walls. Notorious. Everyone knows he just walks into walls.
I mean, who's doing that?
Hard enough to get bruises and scratches. It's well, that doesn't make any sense.
No. So I found that to be quite strange.
Yeah, very suspicious. And did you see how she was saying the scratch was straight across his neck?
Yeah, which I feel is you would do that if you grabbed someone around the neck and you dug in.
Was that from the zip on the suitcase?
Maybe, but
a bit forceful though.
I suppose it could be, but
something to consider.
True. He's going to be snoring on the video. So, yeah, that was all a bit strange. I mean, but the scratch on the neck, if you grabbed someone around the neck in a fight, you might do that because you would then pull your hand back.
Maybe there's lots of reasons kind of how it could happen, but
so many ways that could happen.
I mean, it's silly to lie about anything really. they know you have domestic problems, but then they are saying, we know this happened last night, on Sunday night, like it didn't happen a week before. It didn't happen.
No.
So she's not going to want to admit we had an argument.
Because they're new injuries. Yeah, no.
She's not going to want to admit that. But I mean, she could have said they were all from sex. Maybe they just really went at it. But no, she came up with these must have literally been on the spot because
that's strange things to
walking
say.
into walls.
That's a really shit excuse.
Okay,
or like a really shit explanation as to why the bloke's got a cut on his lip.
And they made it really clear, like it happened on Sunday. The day of his death is when it happened, which is so like amazing that obviously that they can tell that now.
Yeah.
Because obviously throughout history, I bet people have lied and said no.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
It happened last week or whatever, and they couldn't tell otherwise.
No,
They're probably like, okay.
Yeah.
But she couldn't explain the neck scratches. She was just like, I don't know what that is. Which is, he's also got a life. He could have got
of course. Somehow.
that.
Yeah.
He could have scratched himself. Like, ooh, got an itch. Scratch.
Suppose.
I don't know. But weird.
Yeah.
Because there's quite a lot of them as well, and obviously the lip and the head as well. There's a head thing on the head as well.
Right.
So
Okay.
next video.
Okay.
Painting and stuff the night prior.
Correct.
So we're talking about Sunday and
That's
then into
why
Monday.
I'm thoroughly confused because we had a good time sitting on the back porch having wine and smoking a couple of cigarettes and then decided to go inside and literally paint, do puzzles, and play and listen to music. That's why nobody got out of sorts. This is what's mind-blowing to me. Like, I have no clue. Nobody laid a hand on anybody.
He also had, like on the left side of his forehead, he had basically bruising, and on like his head and his skull.
I have no idea.
As if something hit him.
I
considered
have not
force
touched him.
trauma.
I have not touched him. I have not touched him.
Then how would you get those injuries?
Tell me and we'll both know. I have not touched him.
Yesterday, when we took photographs of your overall body, and they did the buccal swabs, did they go under your fingernails?
No.
Okay. Are you willing to let us
Absolutely.
swab underneath your fingernails?
Go for it.
Okay.
I have no idea, and I don't want to seem out of sorts, but I have no idea. We had a good day. It was a good day. We've had good days lately, even considering everything that's going on with our jobs and life in general and ex-wives and everything. It's been good. Like, I don't even know where this is coming from.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
said
even
the
know.
last physical was probably, you said, I think, a month ago? Where you got the injury, right? You said that was a
I'll
month
say
ago?
a few weeks, give or take, yeah.
A few weeks. That was the last, physical altercation between the two of you? Yeah, you said a month ago he hit you with a curtain rod.
Yeah, with a curtain rod. That's why I can't believe you guys didn't take that either.
Wow.
Like, we've been good. I don't know if, it's since the last time he got out of jail. Like, we've been good, and he's been having his classes and seeing his probation officer, who's amazing. So
He's writing his notes. He's a very good student.
Okay. Notes. So, she's thoroughly confused.
Yeah,
Thoroughly.
she's very confused. She's a confused woman.
Throwing that out there.
She doesn't know what's happened.
No.
What has happened.
She keeps saying
Even though
that.
she was there.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite obscure, but she was asleep, according to her story.
She fell asleep suddenly.
Suddenly, yeah, after zipping her husband into a suitcase.
Boyfriend.
I thought it was a husband.
They're not married.
Oh, okay, boyfriend. Head injury. Someone's got whacked around the head. He had.
He's been hit on the head.
Yeah.
That's how they worded it.
She was willing to have her fingernails swabbed.
Yeah. So
Which
she's
suggests
willing to cooperate.
She's cooperative, yeah.
Yeah.
And unless she doesn't, if she's done it and has scratched him and all that kind of stuff, and she just doesn't understand how DNA works, then she's an idiot.
But this is also 2 days later.
Yeah, true. She could have just cleaned them all up, couldn't she?
Yeah. She
true.
could have just. well, if she's had a shower,
Yeah.
you know, picked out her nails or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, that DNA will be lost.
Yeah, of course.
So.
Interesting. She mentioned that a few weeks ago they'd had altercations with each other.
Yeah.
And
did you hear what?
She got hit with a curtain rod.
Curtain rod,
Right,
yeah.
which is pretty serious, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
Then she said that his probation officer is amazing.
Yes.
Interesting. Could be nothing. Might just be a really nice guy that's helping him out. But
she just go a bit more into that.
okay.
I think in the next video. If not, I'll explain. It's not anything massive to the story,
Okay.
but yeah. Was that all your notes?
Yeah, that was about it. I didn't know too much on that one.
No, so just the repetition of it was a good day. We had a good day. We've had good days lately.
I did notice
It's like,
that.
wow, you know, when you start saying something so much, you just start believing it. I think that's what she's trying to do to these detectives.
Sure.
Like, we were good. We were having a great time. We were laughing.
Right.
We were joking. We've had great days. Like, she's really
putting across
hammering it in their heads that
they are good.
you know, they're good. We're good. You know, we're the best couple ever. You know, and obviously, she doesn't know everything that the detectives know.
No, sure.
But like, they know about the domestic abuse stuff, so it's kind of like, you know, were you that good, or is your level of good much lower than like what a normal person's level of good is? Considering 4 weeks ago he was hitting her with a curtain rod, can't imagine things are really that good. Do you know what I mean? It's just, but like I say, like, this is an abusive home. We can't fight against the fact that, you know, she is getting abused in this household. Like, you know, George isn't a saint here.
No,
yes, he's the victim and he has died, but he's also not a saint. He has done these things. But yeah, she's speaking very like matter of factly. Still, there is like very little emotion in her words, which I guess maybe that is just how she is.
Could be. I mean, she seems a little bit more serious here, but you would be potentially because she's sat down in a room, authority, blah blah blah, and it's after the event.
Yeah, she's less erratic.
She's had some time to decompress.
Yeah, but still very, not monotone obviously, but just very just
quite defensive.
Like, defensive, but like not phased. Like
no.
just, I don't know, just a bit. Like, she doesn't seem that she feels bad or sad about George.
No, I wouldn't say so. She hasn't really expressed any.
There's no kind of guilt
emotion
there
in that way. No.
About the fact that he is dead. Like, you know, whether she did it or not or whatever, she
Yeah.
was still in the same building.
Yeah.
When he died, like, you would automatically feel guilt about that. Like, that's just not coming across for me. Like, she's not saying anything like, "Oh God, I feel so bad that he's dead." Like, I was with him for 4 years of my life.
Yeah.
It's not like a 4-month fling. It's years of your life, and you live together. You know, you would have thought maybe there's a bit more of an impact on, unless, you know, maybe she's not sad or feels bad. Maybe she's, you know, no more abuse now.
Possible. It could be something like that, couldn't it?
Yeah, she, like you were saying, she was very defensive. You know, when Chelsea was talking about the injuries, you know, "I've not touched him. You tell me, then we'll both know," kind of response that she gave to Scott about, like, well, how did he get them? And she's like, well, you tell me. You know, very deflective, very defensive. Oh yeah, also her body language is interesting because it's very open.
Okay.
She's sat there, kind of legs slightly
she's not
apart,
cross-legs or anything.
arms are just down at her sides. She looks very calm.
Yeah,
Body language wise.
I don't like.
She's not like.
Yeah.
Clothed. Well, people do, like, officers do read. They don't you know, it doesn't necessarily mean anything in court, but like if they're kind of like that.
Yeah. No.
Or like their knee is like jittering. That is a sign of nerves. Like
Yes,
people do,
of
or
course,
like fiddling, like you know. There are signs that do actually mean something.
Yeah, no, I don't deny that they mean. I don't deny that they mean something. I just think sometimes they are misconstrued.
Next video.
The probation officer,
No, you said you guys have been good. What's your definition?
I've been good. I don't think you all understand. He comes at me all the time. He comes at me. So it's either I flee or try to go upstairs and go to sleep. That's usually what it is. And I don't know if you talk to Brian about any of that, but most of the time when I flee, I go over there. So.
Right, but you're saying that you guys have been good, and when I asked you yesterday, the last incident that you could remember was the curtain rod incident, which you said was a month ago. So.
Give or take.
Right. So what do you mean by he comes after you? Like,
he gets belligerently drunk.
mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you all have looked through my phone yet and seen any of the pictures and the videos that I have taken.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I started documenting everything.
Okay.
So you all will see in my pictures bloody fingers, split foreheads. He split my nose. I've got this.
Right.
I don't know if Brian told you about it, where I had to have I had one really bad surgery, but then it got really, 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 really bad, where I had to go like 4 or 5 more times afterwards for them to tend to it, from him poking me in the back of the leg.
Right.
So it's...
Then why are you still with him?
Everybody asks me that. When I tell you guys this, I really love him, like I do, and I feel like I can help him. Like, I feel like I could help him, which I did, because he came a really long way from where he was in Philadelphia to moving back to here and to dealing with everything else that he's been dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
I've really helped him. I've bailed him out of jail, 3 times. I've gone to every single hearing and every single arraignment, everything that I did for him. Gone to see all his public defenders, go to the state. I've gone to the state. I did everything for him because I'm trying to help him, because I had hope in him. And he was trying. He was really trying. And then he starts to think about things, and I think he gets overwhelmed, and then it's like, the next thing I know, he's drinking. So it's like, oh man, I know where this is going to go, so I'm going to go upstairs and read a book, or I'm going to go for a bike ride, or I'm going to do something else. Where I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. The occasional wine, whatever, or if it's a weekend, that's when you have a good time. You don't have to wake up the next day. I have to wake up the next day and do things. I have to tend to Lucas. I have to take him to school. I have all this stuff to do. He doesn't know how to, I guess, maintain himself, where I can do 50 things at once and still know the 50 things more prior that I need to get done. He can't process like that. He didn't process like that, so he would literally, not literally, but have smoke coming out of his ears. So the next thing you know, he doesn't want to deal with it. I'm going to go get something to drink. So the majority of the time, I would hang out outside or do something else because I don't want to drink.
So quite a lot of information there, I thought.
Yeah. Quite a lot of information. It's the least notes I've made, though.
Okay, good.
But it's interesting. She goes on about him coming at her. She's painting herself as a bit of a victim in all of that, really.
Very much so. Yeah, that's what I put down.
Yeah. The only other thing I found interesting is she kept going on about how she was basically painting herself as a saviour of him.
Yes.
I've really helped him.
She really likes to do that.
I've really done all this for him. He's come such a long way, like because of me, kind of thing, and all that sort of jazz.
Yeah, that's exactly what I put. You know, she's helped George so much. She's helped him come so far. You know, she's gone to every one of his, court hearings.
Yeah.
She's let him out on bail. Like, I've gone to every one of his arraignments and things like that. It's just like, okay, like.
And is that because she's keeping an eye on him, or is that because he's controlled her to a point where she's bailing him out every time and stuff like that?
I just think.
Or is it fear and love?
She wants to be seen as the victim.
Okay.
She wants to show she is a good person. She was the good girlfriend. He was the bad guy because he can't stick up for himself anymore because he's dead.
Yeah, right.
but I was amazing. That's kind of how I felt about it.
Yeah.
You know, which is like, he can't maintain himself.
Yeah.
I can do 50 things at once.
Still know about
But George can't. It's just like, well done you. Like, what? Do you want a pat on the back? I just don't understand. Like,
yeah, it's a bit of a strange place to be touting yourself like that, isn't it?
yeah. So I just don't understand that.
No. Similarly, though, I'd have no idea how I would respond in a police interview situation. I've never been in one
No.
as a suspect.
What, were you guilty of something?
No, I said I've never been in one as a suspect.
Oh, right.
I got beaten up once, and police came round and talked to me.
At
that was it.
Your house?
Yeah.
Oh, so sad. Yeah, obviously she goes into a bit more detail about her injuries that she was documenting. Obviously, like, what did she say? It was like split nose, bloody fingers, you know, things like that. And, you know, domestic violence isn't something to take lightly.
No.
Yes, she, you know, it's quite annoying, like, on these videos and stuff, but, like...
She is.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, right.
You know, but no one deserves
No,
to go
it's
through
a bit
any
treated
kind of...
that way, no.
No one deserves to go through domestic violence. So we're not kind of digging on her at all about that. You know, it's definitely something to take into account.
Yeah. Just act normal. Carry
with
on.
everything. And, you know, domestic violence can impact, you know, can traumatise you and impact you, like, psychologically and
Oh, gotcha.
physically as well, obviously. So, you know, there's no disagreeing that there was some severe violence in the home by George.
Yes, on her, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You know, and Scott says, so why are you still with him then? Which I think in any other circumstance it would be a bit of like a ignorant question to ask, because, you know, it's abuse. Abuse victims do stay. It's a lot harder to leave. But I think in this case, he's asking it in a sense of to gauge her reaction.
Okay.
And her reaction was to cry.
Yeah, right. She
Or
kind
at
of
least
feign it. Yeah.
pretend to cry.
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced on this crying stuff. It's sad. Like, she's just going, oh no. Oh.
It
Like,
looked a little
she's not wiping her face. She's not.
Could be crocodile.
And she's talking normally, and then like 1 second later, she's like croaky voiced.
Yeah.
So I'm not convinced of it, but it is hard to tell.
Not drunk. He was not drunk. You guys were having a good time.
I can't get drunk. Number one, I do not want to get drunk. I don't like being non-compos mentis, having my wits about myself. I don't like feeling out of control. So
I'm just saying, you're making it sound like he's a raging alcoholic today, and yesterday I was kind of asking you those questions, and you're like a little defensive, like, no, we're not alcoholics.
I'm not.
We are not, you know. But you guys were both sober on Sunday, to your knowledge, because when I said you went and passed out, you were like, no, I didn't pass out, I just fell asleep. So now it's kind of like, what is it? Were you guys drinking and it got out of hand and
no.
It got physical?
No.
Or is it...
Sunday was one of the better days that we have had in quite some time. He's dancing with my dog. You can see that, too, on the pictures, him loving the dog. He loves the dog and dancing around, having a good time, and just being happy kind of thing. He doesn't know. I can get, like, maybe 2-3 glasses of wine, and I'll be fine. But I have to have my wits about myself because I don't know what to expect.
Well, let's talk about Sunday. What was Sunday? How were you, like, how many glasses of wine did you have? How many glasses of wine did he have? The bottle was gone. I mean, I don't know if you poured any out. Yes.
No, that was from previous.
You said that there was a half bottle left
Yeah,
over.
about this much.
And then that you had well, I don't even know how the wine, how'd you guys get the wine?
Were they drunk or were they not drunk?
So that is becoming the big question
Yeah.
now. The alcohol is very much a big part of the conversation.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to gauge.
Yeah, and it is now, and it wasn't really when she first got interviewed at the doorstep.
No.
Because she was like, we had half a glass, we were having fun, blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, he's a raging alcoholic. I drink a little bit, but not that much. I drink, but I know what's going on.
I can't drink. I have responsibility,
Yeah.
so I can't.
It's weird, isn't it? I don't know.
Either way, the amount of alcohol they consume has changed.
Right, yeah.
It's either gone from it's gone from 1 bottle to half a bottle.
Yeah.
Which, that's probably like a glass of wine each.
Yeah.
I don't know, it depends how
Maybe.
big the wine glass
Yeah,
is.
no, it's about
Maybe
that.
2 small ones each.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, which can make a difference with some people when you're like drunk levels.
Mm-hmm. But if that's all you're drinking, though, that's not a lot.
That's not a lot.
No.
Especially
if you're an alcoholic, or like if you drink
She's
regularly.
not an alcoholic. Do you not remember she said, "I'm not an alcoholic"?
No, she did.
She immediately defended herself. I'm not an alcoholic.
But if you drink regularly, your tolerance is obviously higher. I'm sure they could have drank a couple of glasses of wine each and been completely fine.
Oh yeah, probably yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Where I would probably feel a little bit tipsy.
Mm.
So yeah, the thing with Sarah is that she talks a lot.
Mm.
She just keeps.
When she starts,
talking.
she keeps going, doesn't
That's
she?
it. Like they'll just ask her a simple question, and then she'll just go on and on and barely even answer the question. She's like a politician. Like she'll breeze past like an answer, where it's just like, I wasn't drunk, and then just gives you like loads of information about how you're doing puzzles and paintings and whatever. It's just like, can we just go back to the question here? And you'll see that more as the interview goes on, where like they're clearly just getting sick of it. They're like,
right,
can we just bring it back? Do you know what I mean? That's like, rein it in, Sarah. But yeah, we'll get onto that. Do you want to get him down? Is he uncomfortable?
a little bit. Sorry, buddy, you're gonna have to go somewhere else. Say bye, Chip. Bye.
Can you speak?
Howdy.
Chippy, speak.
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 Speak right into the mic.
Whisper. Can you whisper?
No. I'm gonna put you down. You go back to the living room. Go chill out.
Nobody knew George better than I did. I say that I knew George better than himself. And I tried in every way, shape, and form. Ask everyone. I helped him. I took care of him. I miss him a lot, and I didn't even sleep last night. I miss him a lot.
I mean, is there any chance it got to be too much for you and you couldn't handle taking care of him and
I never stopped.
trying to...
I never
help
stopped.
Okay.
That's what I'm here for. I never stopped. I'm here now because I'm still trying to help him.
Yeah, we just don't, I mean, it's unexplainable how he got these injuries, and
I have no idea.
you were the only one with him.
100% right hand to God. I have no idea how he got them. Nobody touched anybody. Nobody touched anybody.
Okay. You had mentioned that you would take photos, videos, kind of like a proof and just in general.
Yeah, I started documenting at one point, but that was way before, I think, the last time that he got arrested, where he was flying off the deep end.
Okay.
But then I had him bailed out. I got him out of jail.
Right.
But because he had violated the pretrial diversion, this time it's probation, so you don't have a choice in it. You have to go to see your probation officer. You have to go to these classes. It's court ordered.
Mhm.
Where it took him a while to get used to it and understand, they're not messing around. I even went down and met his probation officer, which I say she's wonderful. That's one of my questions too I need to talk to you about. Hugged me and said how much she knows that I take care of him. She called me personally one time when George was at work, when he was working. 42-minute phone call. She and I just saying how grateful she is that George has me. And she knows how hard I'm working to help him, just as she is and just as the classes will. So once he started actually going on a regular basis to the probation officer and then to his...
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I mean, it just keeps going on about how much he was helping. She really wants them to know that, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She's the hard-trying partner that is just really making his life better. bit weird. And then she was like, my right hand to God, I don't know how that happened. That's not fucking hell.
As
Why
if
do you
that
need to bring
means
God into it?
anything.
Yeah, exactly. That's bullshit. Just say, I didn't do it. Or, I fucking did it.
Well, it's just stupid. It's
I
like,
don't-
you know, it's like, I promise I didn't do it. It's just
Yeah,
like,
right. Even God knows.
like, it's just
Dumb.
stupid. Like, why even say that? Like, it's just a childish way to try and
Kind of,
convince someone. It's just like,
It's got no weight.
dumb.
It's got no weight for
Exactly.
police officers anyways.
well,
but
she expecting them just to be like, okay, we believe you.
Yeah,
Case closed.
Yeah. You must be a Christian.
You're off the hook.
And then they asked about her documenting it, and she kind of deflected, I thought, quite quickly.
What did she say?
Well, she sort of said, yeah, and then she started talking about his probation stuff again. Like she went back to what she was talking about
she
before
likes
almost,
doing
or
that.
whatever. But like, I felt like she got
Deflected.
off that topic very quickly.
She's good at doing that.
Yeah.
I didn't clock that, but at the end of the day, why did you just do that?
'Cause it was on. I could see it.
My snack.
It's finished.
The documentation is something that they would be able to prove. So I
Yeah.
doubt.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, if she's lying
If she's
about
got it
it,
on
then
camera.
she is literally stupid. Because
Well, yeah, exactly.
she's saying it's on her phone.
Yeah.
So, and they've got her phone,
Right.
you know, for evidence. So
Yeah.
they're going to obviously look through it
Yeah. Well.
and
yeah,
know
exactly.
whether there's any documentation on there or not. So it'd be a silly thing for her to lie about. But
Yeah. True. It just seemed like a bit of a weird deflection. I thought, but it
that's what she does. She just
talks about loads of stuff.
just talks and talks and talks. And at the end of the day, she's just like digging herself into a bit of a hole, really, because she's just giving them a lot of information which she doesn't even really need to give.
No.
She's answering the questions very quickly or very briefly, and then just spewing out all this extra information, which, you know, isn't necessarily putting her in a good light or a bad light. It's just kind of, she just keeps talking.
It's just neutral, isn't it?
It's just a lot. But it's also like, you know, she loves bigging herself up like she was doing before. You know.
Yeah, I think it's too much information, and it might be a tactic, slightly, to just overload the police officers, really.
Oh yeah, when she's bigging herself up and then saying how much she was helping him and stuff like that, and then Detective Chelsea was just like, well, did it all just get too much for you? And then she had this big reaction, just like, no.
Right.
I don't know, it was just very, like, she was like shouting it. Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
sure. I recall the detective asking the question, but I didn't actually clock her response that
And
much.
saying that, I'm still helping him now.
Yeah, I did see that.
And it's like, what? How?
Well,
Like,
she
you're
thinks
the
she's-
reason, you know, he's in the suitcase.
Well, yeah, true.
How are you helping him now?
Well, she just... The police at some point have probably said, you know, if you want to help the family or whatever, like, we need
That's
to...
not on that. Wasn't on the recording.
No, I know it wasn't. But I can understand why she thinks she's helping him now, because she's trying to solve the crime with the police. If you see what I mean. Like, that's just what I'm thinking.
I think that's a really strange thing to say. I'm still helping him now. Okay, well, if she didn't zip him up in the suitcase, and none of this would have happened in the first place. That was my take from it. I'm just like, what? That makes literally no sense.
Luggage, what time you
I
went
told you-
upstairs.
We started because we cleaned the house a little bit, did some laundry.
You started the activities around 4, you said?
Yes, around 4:30ish, and then.
You just said that it was dark when you were playing hide and seek, and I'm just curious if you remember.
But when we were outside, that's where we would start
Mhm.
and talk about things, and then eventually I was the one that had him come inside, so we could.
About
do
what
stuff.
time, do you remember what time that was, is what she's asking.
And you said you went up to bed around
Midnight.
midnight, fell asleep around 12:30ish. But those are the only times I have. So I have 4 and I have midnight. So there's a big gap. So I'm just curious, like, if you recall when you went upstairs to hide in the shower, or
Like when we started to play hide and seek.
Yeah.
Well, we went inside probably about, if I had to guess, we weren't out there too long. Maybe about 6-ish. Then...
You're talking about from hanging out outside and like...
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, we have 2 beach chairs that are out there and
Right.
just enjoy the weather.
Gotcha.
Plus, it started to get dark and gnats and mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So, let's go inside. I don't want to be out here anymore.
Okay.
All right, let's go. So we're doing whatever. We did it for a while because that puzzle, I don't know if they took it or they saw it. Worked on the puzzle again, finished it, started to paint. Well, started listening to music for a little bit. Started to paint. Can we turn the music off? No problem. Start at the top, paint, whatever. Maybe, gosh, that puzzle, we worked on that for probably a good hour and a half. So 8 o'clock-ish?
Is when you
9
went to
o'clock?
hide upstairs originally?
No, that's when we were like painting. So then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to paint anymore. Let's just, come on. Okay, you want to play hide and seek? What he does is, okay, tag, you're it. So it's like, okay, we know. Okay, take off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we did.
And then you went upstairs, and then he didn't come up, and you came down, and the suitcase was there originally because you guys were planning to do donations, so it
Including
was
the
already
suitcase.
there. Have you guys ever played you said you played hide and seek like probably 3 times in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
When you have played, have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase prior?
No.
Okay. So it was just kind of like that prop was there, and it was there,
Yes.
and it was in play because...
Why do you say it like that, though?
Uh-huh.
I would never do that.
You would never zip them up in a suitcase?
Well,
I mean, we were playing.
No, I know,
that
but
time,
I'm saying, I'm talking about hide and seek, which...
Donations? What's that about?
So I did clip out when she kind of went into that a little bit more.
Okay.
Because she just waffles on. She's just saying like her son Lucas has loads of clothes that don't fit him, so they wanted to get rid of the clothes and kind of like use the suitcases.
Yeah.
The thing to like carry the clothes to wherever, charity shop or something, wherever they have in America.
Mm. Okay, fair enough. I mean, there's not really much else to take from that apart from the timing.
Can't really dispute that in a sense of like how can you tell where it was, if it was there or not?
The suitcase?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, no, not really. I mean, yeah, it's plausible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Donation thing. It's,
I don't know to be fair, they never really kind of explain exactly where it is in the house.
No.
I don't think it's a very big, it's kind of, I don't know if it's like a house or like a kind of, they're always
Flat
called
or
different
something.
things in America. Yeah,
Condo.
I don't even know what that
No,
is.
I don't know.
But it's like, they're in like a complex of buildings that are all like attached to each other. So I don't know if it is kind of like a flat but like 2 floors.
Yeah, I was about to say, 'cause she mentioned she goes upstairs
Yeah,
to
so I don't
sleep
know.
and stuff.
I don't know what that is in America. But so I don't think it's a very big space. So I don't know whether it's literally kind of like living room, kitchen, bedroom upstairs, bathroom sort of thing. But I'm assuming it was kind of like in the living space because Brian, her ex-husband, said like he was in like the hallway bit and he saw legs from there, like in the doorway basically. So obviously, it's kind of right there in the living space, I would assume. So like it is a bit weird for the suitcase to be there.
Yeah.
If it's for donations.
Right,
It's
yeah.
whatever, fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about that chunk.
So obviously this is when she starts, they start trying to establish a timeline.
Yeah.
And generally, in cases, you shouldn't really, like, you should take a timeline with like a pinch of salt if it's coming from like a witness or
Of
like
course.
a person. Obviously,
Makes
like,
sense.
no one knows what the time is at all times. So there's always going to be off a bit, like, so, she's saying like 4-ish, it could have been 5. You just don't know, do you? So, we're not going to like penalise her for anything. But generally what she's saying is like, so 4 p.m. is kind of when the activities kind of start, and then they go outside at about 6 to just like hang out outside. Yeah, they come back inside, 8 p.m. they are painting. And then 12 a.m. she goes to bed. So between 8 p.m. and 12 a.m. they are playing hide and seek, and obviously the events happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then the question, like, have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase before? And she's like, no, I would never do that. And it's like, But you did.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
even there, like,
And
well,
she said he did.
well,
She did.
it's just like just dumb. I just don't get why she's saying some things. It's just like, do you know why you're here?
Yeah, right. It's quite fishy.
It's just I would never do that. It's like, but you did.
Mm.
What?
There's a man in a suitcase at the bottom of your
It's
stairs.
just like, just baffling woman. So Chelsea wants to clarify whether Sarah has zipped him up before, jokingly or not. Sarah says no. The detective understands Sarah has said it was all done in like a laughing, joking way, like both of them were laughing whilst it was happening, and it is not something that she has ever done in the past. That's just clarified, done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So now this is kind of where the interview takes a bit of a turn.
Okay.
So, to your recollection, no videos on Sunday?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I thought I maybe took a picture of them, the two of Tess and
The dogs.
George and them dancing, but I mean, it's just Tess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have something that I want to show you that we found, and it was from your phone.
Mhm.
Can you see it?
If you need to move it around, go ahead.
No, I don't remember that.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's about to die.
Shutting down.
Oh. Okay.
Let me.
The battery doesn't last very long.
It used to last a lot longer than that. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Let me just grab something.
All right. No, I was just simply asking because you had a look on your face when she asked you if you've ever done that before. You looked kind of shocked and.
No.
Okay, but why did you say it like that? Like.
I don't think you all understand who I am.
Okay. Well, tell me.
I mean, I've always been a straight-A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son.
Okay.
I excel at everything. I would not do that.
You wouldn't zip somebody in a suitcase?
Well, I didn't, completely lock it. I mean, I opened it with one finger. I left enough in there for him to get out.
Okay.
And I wasn't planning on going upstairs and going to sleep.
Okay. No, it was just the way you said it.
You guys are scaring me.
Why?
Well, we just want you to watch this. This came from your phone. Don't you want to know what's on it?
Yes, please. Is it long? Because I don't know how much I can take.
No.
I don't know how much I can take.
I don't know how to find your...
Do I have to watch this? I continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it, if that's okay.
Well, it's on your phone, and you can either explain it or we take it for what it is.
Yeah. We're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me. Fuck you.
And this
Fuck
is,
you.
that's you, your voice.
Stupid. That's my name. Don't wear it up. Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me.
I don't want to watch it, please.
Last time we talked to you, you had said that You put him in the suitcase, he had 2 fingers hanging out, and you
I
went to
flipped
bed.
him over. I flipped him over, and that's where it was.
I mean, there's 2 different videos and a still picture where, yeah, it shows you flipping him in different positions, and him saying that he can't breathe, and you saying, fuck
So
you.
this is upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it,
It was flipped up.
right, it was flipped up normal.
Yes.
Like as if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
So this image is upside down, and then this small video that occurred 11 minutes later, it's flipped over the other way, closer to your dining room table.
Okay.
Now he's obviously still in there. So he didn't, how did it go from the back to the front?
I flipped it.
Okay.
My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep,
Well, that's what you did.
Yeah.
but not intentional.
No, you told me you went upstairs because
What?
you were
Stop
getting
here.
ready for bed.
Stopped here.
Okay, but
Where's here?
show me where you can see any fingers coming out, because there's the end.
And his head's right here.
Mm-hmm.
So going like this, rather than going all the way up, it's like this.
But why is he saying I can't breathe, and why is he pushing on it as if he can't get out?
And it doesn't show a hole.
There's no
gap.
hole. There's no fingers. I don't see his fingers. There's no hole.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't know, like, what you want me to tell you.
I'm just showing you. I'm just telling you what we see and what we've heard from the other
I
video.
understand. I understand.
He's begging for you to let him out. You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end, it sounds kind of like a.
No, it's not malicious.
Well, saying fuck you,
It's not malicious.
then what is that?
What does "fuck you" mean to you?
Well,
Like if I were to tell my
like he
partner.
does. Like, I get told everything but a white woman, so
Okay.
my intention was not to leave him in there. Please understand that. My intention.
Okay.
She's a fucking Karen, isn't she?
She's a lot, isn't she? She
I'm
is.
a white woman.
She's so annoying.
She's guilty. She's done it. She's a naughty woman, and she needs to go to jail. No. On a serious note, some people are driven to acts where they do murder their partner because they've been abused for so long.
Correct.
And that does happen.
Correct.
And they shouldn't be, if they've been through horrendous abuse and they do that, I don't know what the law should be, but it shouldn't be murder and all that kind of stuff. That they need some leniency in those situations.
I think there is when it can be proven, which obviously is a very difficult thing
Of course, yeah.
to do, but it has happened a little bit where
Yeah.
it's not very common though.
No, sure.
They normally still get charged because obviously.
Yeah, of course. She's had an opportunity to let him out. He's exclaimed that he can't breathe inside that suitcase. She's had an opportunity to let him out, and she's told him to fuck off, or just said "fuck you" to be more accurate. So that's she could have stopped all this. She had a choice to leave him in there.
Yeah, and did you notice she was slurring?
Yeah, right, in
words
the video.
when she was talking.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, when she was saying.
Yeah, she did sound drunk.
You know, it was like that's how I feel when you choke me or something.
Yeah.
And it's very slurred.
Right, yeah.
You know, is half a bottle of wine going to do that to any? Well,
No,
maybe
right.
to some people that.
Yeah, sure.
But then it's a shared half bottle of wine
Right,
apparently.
exactly.
So it's a quarter bottle of wine. Would you be slurring your words that much? I don't think so.
No, I don't
If you've
think
got an
so.
alcohol problem, would you be slurring your words after half a bottle of
Probably
wine?
not.
No.
No.
That probably wouldn't even touch the sides if
No.
you were an addict.
No.
Just before we go any further,
Mm-hmm.
I do have the video that she has shown
Oh, right.
that
Oh, wow.
I can show you.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not gonna show it on the podcast
Okay.
for the audience. It's just not respectful to do that.
No,
I don't think. It is available. You can go and find it if you want to, but I don't feel comfortable showing it
Sure.
on here because it is haunting.
Yeah, okay.
You obviously don't see
No.
anything graphic
No,
or
right.
anything, but to get the full picture of it all, because there's more that there's more to see than what you hear on here, because she declares she doesn't want to see it anymore, so they don't show her anymore.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I put that down, that she's refusing to watch, or at
Yeah.
least she's saying that she
So they
doesn't
can't
want to see.
force her. They can't force her to
No,
watch it.
no, but it's an opportunity, like they say, it's an opportunity for her to explain herself away if it is not malicious.
But I think she knows she can't.
Yeah, exactly. And she can't, well, she says, I don't know what you want me to say.
Do you want me to show you it?
You can do, yeah.
It's completely up to you, but it will show you more.
Yeah, go on, so I know.
Of what they're talking about. Okay, so I just showed Roger the footage of George in the suitcase, and yeah, like I said, it is just haunting, isn't it? Because obviously he is alive in the suitcase, talking, saying he can't breathe. You know, he's just saying her name over and over and over again. You know,
And he's pleading, isn't he?
He's pleading
to be let out of it, basically.
And I'm sure he was panicking, but
Yeah.
because he's in such a confined space, you know, you can't be, you know, shouting, you know, because you're so scrunched.
Yeah.
You know, he would have been like that. Like, you can't exactly be screaming for help, can you? You just have to try and stay calm.
Yeah.
You know, in order to survive, basically. But and she's laughing.
Yeah, that's the scary bit, really. That's the sickening bit about it, is the sort of chuckling away at it. I think one thing to mention is in that she said, "This is what happens when you cheat on me."
Yeah.
Now, they might have been having a wonderful day until she found that out.
That's it. When did she find that out? Yeah, that's true.
Or maybe she already knew and they did get into the suitcase for fun. Because why would you willingly get into a suitcase?
I don't know.
And then she zipped it up and left him in there.
Like it was like a little plot. Like,
yeah,
oh, why don't you try and get in the suitcase, honey?
Yeah.
Why don't you try and get in it? It's just, if you want to do harm someone, why would you ask them to go into a suitcase? It's a very strange way of trying to like get back at someone for cheating on you.
Yeah, it is true.
Do you know, that's not the first thing I would think of.
No.
You know, so it's just very sinister, isn't it? She's like, and you don't hear it in this interview, but later on in the video, she's slurring her words so much we don't know what she said. It's completely gibberish. It's just, you know, we couldn't make it out at all, could we?
No.
You know, maybe if we really sat there and analysed it, maybe we could make something out, but it would be a guess.
Yeah.
So she's not just tipsy.
No, she's wasted.
She's wasted.
She's pretty drunk.
Like, it's not a half bottle, it's not one bottle.
No.
You know, that's like for definite. That's why I kind of wanted to show you, because you could hear she was slurring, but like obviously we don't know what she sounds like.
No.
Tipsy or drunk. But as the video goes on, there's no denying it. She was wasted. 100%. You know, he didn't sound too bad, but obviously when you're in panic mode, you sober up, don't you? You're just like,
you can do, yeah. Sure.
And also, you know, she was saying how, oh, they were joking, it was all fun, everyone was laughing, we were having a fab time. He was not. No, he was not laughing.
She was the only one laughing.
At him, in despair.
Yeah.
It was just very, you know, it was malicious. She instantly says, it wasn't malicious. It fucking was malicious. There's no other way around it.
And again, from earlier, it wasn't intentional. It wasn't intentional.
Her favourite phrase.
And it seemed quite intentional after seeing that.
Yeah.
I don't understand how anyone in a sort of stable state of mind would hear someone else in that position and not be like, oh shit, I better let you out.
Yeah.
Because
this
has clearly gone too far. You sound like you're in distress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think she just go into it a little bit more, but like, you know, she says, goes on to say, oh, I just wasn't recording at that point when we were laughing and joking. I wasn't recording then. And about the fingers being on show, I just wasn't recording then. I was like, oh, that's convenient, isn't it?
Yeah, she was very much like,
but then,
this much.
Which is a new addition to her story, so she is adapting it and changing it now. So she, even though they've mentioned the zipping all the way through when they first met her and things like that, you know, all she said was that she zipped it up.
Yeah.
At no point did she say she half zipped it, she
No, right.
3/4 zipped it or whatever. It's always been, I zipped, like he got in there,
Yeah.
I zipped it up.
Yeah.
There was no mention of fingers, no
No.
mention of, you know, there being a space, you know.
She's trying to find little holes in
Yeah.
where she can make herself come out of this okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to go back to like the beginning of that clip where she's just bigging herself up again.
Yeah, yeah.
Grade A student,
Yeah, that
an
was it.
outstanding mother who forgets to pick up her child from school. You know,
yeah.
I excel at everything. Do you? The life you lead doesn't really seem like you do, considering you're like jobless and an alcoholic. Doesn't really seem. But fine. She's clearly a narcissist. I don't think there's any
Yeah, that
disagreeing
seems quite
that.
obvious. Yeah, that seems quite obvious.
Like, that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I
I've
wouldn't.
diagnosed her.
I
She
wouldn't.
doesn't need to.
No, yeah, she's definitely a narcissist. I mean, I wouldn't want to put too much comment on, you know, that she is like jobless and stuff, or like.
Oh, she doesn't have a job though. That is true.
No, I'm not saying that it's not true or that she's an alcoholic, but I think it's a bit. I think we need to kind of tread on eggshells when we talk about those kind of things, because we don't know why people end up in those situations, and we don't know why people end up as.
I know.
Become alcoholics and get an addiction, or how they've become jobless or whatever.
I know, but just in the terms of her saying that she excels at everything.
True. Yes, it's bullshit.
That's why I was saying that, is because she
Sure.
says she excels at everything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair.
That was my point. I wasn't dicking on her for
It's my bedtime reminder.
bedtime reminder. But you never come to bed at 10:30.
I know. It's a nice reminder though. Anyway.
Fuck's sake.
But yeah, I get why you're.
That's why I said
get,
it. I wasn't
yeah.
dicking on
General.
like alcoholics or
Yeah.
anyone like that at all, because
No.
it is an addiction. It is you know, debilitating.
Yeah,
So
of
I'm
course.
not dicking on that at all.
No.
Another just reason why she's a bit of a dumbass, where she declares when watching the video that, guys, this is killing me right now.
No.
When she's literally watching a video of her boyfriend who dies in a suitcase.
Right. Yeah, it's quite
It's
insensitive,
like-
isn't it?
I just don't know what planet this woman's on. Why would you say that? Like that
Well,
phrasing, it's
I
just
guess-
like,
I
read
guess-
the room, lady.
Yeah. Well, I guess she sees herself if she's going to go down for this, then she's getting killed effectively, because you lose your life, don't you? You know.
Do you think that's kind of what she meant?
She might not have thought of. She might. I don't know. I feel like I'm doing that thing that all those like dodgy TV shows.
What you're
on, like,
interpreting.
Sky 150 or whatever. Yeah, and I'm interpreting.
What's Sky 150?
It's just
I've never
it's
even
just
heard of that.
Yeah, that was a channel 150 on Sky.
Alright, Sky.
Yeah, we had Sky for a bit. We didn't have it forever. Just when I was growing up, we had it for a long time. But we never got like the Disney channels. We had the cheap version of Sky. Anyway, Cartoon Network, loved it. But yeah, it could be a bit of foresight on her part, where she's like, "Oh, you're killing me right now," because she knows that it's likely she's going to go down for it, especially if they're showing her this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know. But it is also a phrase that people say, don't they?
I
"Oh, you're
know,
killing
but
me."
read the room.
Yeah, sure.
You know, she's like refusing to watch the video. It's just like,
As if that's going to make it go away.
yeah, and they're
Yeah.
like trying to give her a chance, like, you know, kind of like defend yourself here. Like,
Yeah,
we're
right.
giving you that opportunity. We don't. We obviously they want her to watch it because they want her reaction. You know, they've got their own, you know, reasons they want it. But it's also true. Like, let's hear your side of it.
Yeah.
But she knows there's no other side to it.
Not one
What
that
other side
paints
is
her in
there?
a particularly good light. No, God no.
What?
You know what's on that video now?
No.
You remember making that video?
Oh,
Why don't you remember making the video?
probably because we had been drinking.
But you weren't drunk.
Just because I went upstairs and, just
You
because
told
you're
us-
drunk doesn't mean that
You told us several times that you were not drunk. You said that you had your wits about you. You said he had his wits about you.
Mhm.
You said that you don't like not having your wits. In my experience, if somebody cannot remember doing something to the extent of making 2 videos and taking a photo, they are intoxicated.
Okay. I understand where you all are coming from.
Well,
I
we're
get
just
it.
trying to make sense of it. We're trying to
get it.
figure out what
We're
you're
trying to
saying.
figure out this
You
video.
explain it to us. We're listening.
I just did. Like, we were playing, and then, like, I thought it was... My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep. My plan was not to... He'll be up here any minute.
But
But
you
again-
willingly went upstairs and went to sleep. No one forced you to go upstairs and get
My
ready
plan
for
wasn't
bed.
also to leave him in the suitcase,
So why didn't you take him out?
because I went upstairs, and then I fell asleep.
But why didn't you consciously think, he's asking to come out, he can't
I didn't do it
breathe.
intentionally.
What do you think is going to happen if you leave somebody in a confined space like that?
Well, I thought by not zipping it up all the way, it would be okay. My plan was not to leave him in the
And what was
suitcase,
your plan?
waiting for him to come upstairs.
And then when he didn't?
I fell asleep.
You said you were up there 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, somebody not coming up.
Knowing that the last time you saw him was in the suitcase, 30 minutes later, you're like, maybe I should go check on him, maybe I shouldn't?
No.
Well, that didn't cross your mind because
That's
it
like
didn't happen.
that's like an assumption. Like, that's what you all are thinking. Just,
We're asking.
it's the
You
whole,
tell us.
it's the drinking. That's what it is. It's the drinking. I thought it was, like, I thought he was okay. Like, I didn't,
He's telling you he's not. He's telling you, Sarah, I can't breathe. He's saying your name, and you're like, that's my name, don't wear it out.
Guys, that's how we are with each other. Like, nobody understands our relationship. The whole suitcase thing never happened before.
Would you leave someone else in a suitcase? Would you leave Lucas in a suitcase jokingly? Because it was a
No.
joking matter. You put him in there jokingly. Would you leave Lucas jokingly in there? And you love Lucas, right? And you love
I wouldn't do
George.
that to him either. I wouldn't do that to him.
So, I just...
Well, it's not like, again, I don't think you all understand. Like, it's not that was not my intention.
Well,
Y'all don't have any idea what
by
I've
your
done for
acts,
him.
though, but by your acts, and that's exactly right. You get to the point where you've done so much for somebody and they don't show
No.
you any appreciation,
He did.
not by your words.
All I've written here is just she had to be drunk. She had to be really quite drunk.
Yeah.
To go up, to leave him in there, go upstairs. She's up there on her account for half an hour, like they've just said, like the police officers said, and then and she hasn't thought to herself, if she wasn't drunk, as she was sort of saying earlier.
Well, that's what she's been adamant about.
Yeah.
Until now, where she's like, it was a drink.
Yeah,
It must have been the drink.
Yeah,
It was a drink. It's just like the drink that you weren't drinking.
Yeah, right.
But now you were drinking it.
Right.
Okay, right, got ya.
She knows she's done something wrong. She knows she's done something wrong.
Oh, I think she's known that all along.
Yeah. Yes, I would say so. I would say so.
And the thing is, she fucked up because she chose to hide the fact that they were drinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas at the end of the day, that kind of doesn't really matter. If she was drinking or not. At the end of the day, it happened.
Yeah, the event occurred.
The event happened.
Yeah.
Whether obviously it would have happened if she wasn't drinking, that's kind of
That's
another
question, isn't it?
question. But it happened. So I don't understand the logic of why she lied in the first place, as if her being drunk would have made the situation worse. When the worst case has already happened.
Yeah, right.
He died.
Right.
And it's interesting because normally a lot of people will go to that and be like, I was really drunk. I didn't mean to do it.
Yeah, sure.
Whereas she's like...
It's almost more of a defence.
I can't drink. I can't do it. You know, and then it turns out, oh no, wait, it's the drinking. I blame the drinking.
Yeah, right.
It's just like...
It's weird.
It's just stupid of her, obviously, because now she's being proven to be a liar. So all this is doing is hurting her defence.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Which I think is what the detectives are doing because, like I say, it doesn't really matter either way if she was drunk or not because it happened. But yeah, now she's being seen as a liar because all she has done is say, I wasn't drunk, you know, I can't drink because I've got so many responsibilities.
Yeah.
You know, and it turns out I was drinking. It's just like, you're so dumb.
Yeah, definitely. I don't have too much. I don't have anything else to say on that video. But
No.
apart from she's becoming more and more sort of just sickening, really, to watch.
It's
and
really
listen
unraveling, isn't it?
It's really
story.
it's coming apart for her. That's for sure.
It's really coming apart. And it's quite interesting. I liked that Chelsea asked her, like, what would you put Lucas in there, which is her son.
Right. Yeah.
Would you put Lucas in a suitcase? Jokingly, you know, this is all a joke. Everyone's having fun here. So would you put him? And she's like, no. No. And I wouldn't do that to him either, pointing at the screen, which is obviously of George. It's like, but you did. I'm just like, I don't know how they don't scream at this woman. And it's just like, but you did do. I just don't understand.
I bet they feel like screaming all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
Like it, not just this.
she is just so infuriating. And now she's getting on.
I was just going to let the dog out. Carry on. Now she's getting on.
That was no talking.
Go on.
And now she's getting, like, furthering her narrative with saying, well, it wasn't my plan to fall asleep. It wasn't my plan. Bearing in mind, she'd already previously said that she, I don't know if I included this, but she said that she didn't go upstairs and pass out, which you would think would be from booze. She adamantly said, I didn't pass out. She said, I just fell asleep.
Yeah.
So now she's saying her plan wasn't to fall asleep.
Right. Which...
And they're like, well, what was your plan?
Right,
like, what plan do you have? Like, why do you have a plan anyway?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
And she's like, I didn't intentionally go upstairs. It's like, what? So your legs just, like, took control of your own body? Like, what? It makes no sense.
No.
She's just showing her, like, dumb true colours, I feel like, are just seeping out of her right now.
True colours. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong.
Thank you. I think we'll just move on to the next video.
It was not intentional. I will put my hand on the Bible. It was not intentional. I would not do that to him nor anyone else.
But you did.
Not intentional.
You intentionally went up to bed.
I didn't intentionally go to bed because I'm thinking, okay, good, he can get out.
How did you not intentionally go to bed? You said you went upstairs and got into bed. That's intentionally going to bed.
Waiting for him.
And he doesn't come, but you don't go down to check on him.
So I happen to go to sleep. When I say go to sleep,
and what do you
goes
normally
off
do when
whatever
you go to
you're
bed?
gonna do.
What do you normally do when you go to bed?
What do you mean?
What is a bed for? Going to sleep.
Right.
So you go to
but
bed to
obviously
do
you
what?
can tell too that, like, I've
You
been
go to
drinking
bed
also.
to do what? Okay. You kept telling us, hey, I wasn't intoxicated. I wasn't this. I wasn't that.
Being drunk and intoxicated, which, yes,
Okay.
you can tell that I had been drinking, but...
Okay. So if you weren't intoxicated, then why would you ever leave somebody in a suitcase that's begging to get out, that's telling you they can't breathe?
If I hadn't been drinking, you still think it would be the same thing? Where it's like, hop in, I'm going to go to sleep. Is that what you all are trying to do? To portray me as?
We're not trying to do anything. I'm simply asking you to explain to me what happened.
Everything was fine and dandy.
I wouldn't call it fine and dandy.
Was fine and dandy.
Explain
You
to me
also,
how.
okay, for me to tell you this, again, mind you, I've been without him for a day now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I mean, I don't know what you all want me to tell you, because this was not in any way, shape, or form, hand on the Bible, intentional.
Okay. So you just left
I
him there to
didn't kill
teach
him.
You left him there to teach him a lesson?
I didn't mean to leave him there. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You got up and walked away. How is that not intentionally leaving him there?
Because I'm looking at the hole, knowing that it's there. He'll get out and no come. Because you don't.
And then he doesn't, but you don't go check on him. You say you're up for 30 minutes and he doesn't come up. You don't go down and check on him?
I'm in the bed.
You even moved.
And off.
You admit to moving the suitcase like over. So
You roll it.
You roll it over. Like, it's not like.
I didn't want it to be like that.
Don't.
You didn't want him to be upside down? How do you even get upside down?
Right.
Fuck you.
You guys are killing me right now.
I just want you to
Probably
hear.
shut the fuck up.
That's how he talks to me most of the time.
Did you make any notes?
I didn't know. My
You
note
slipped.
taking's really. It's because we're almost 3 hours into this one. Yeah. So yeah. She doth protest too much about it wasn't intentional. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. At this point, she's just digging her own grave. Isn't
Yeah.
she? She's digging her own prison sentence. And even when you were saying it earlier, but when she was like, "Oh, you're killing me," even the police officer at that point was just like, "Fucking
Yeah.
shut your mouth."
Yeah.
Like, he was shaking his head. You could see it.
Yeah, like Scott
Wasn't terribly
definitely
obvious,
starts
but-
like piping up a lot more, like
Right.
from now on in this interview, which I think he was definitely his job was like the bad cop.
Yeah,
in a
right. I was
sense.
about to say good cop,
Like
bad
Chelsea
cop.
was like the good cop who's like fairly like reasonable and not challenging. Whereas Scott, he like sweeps in now and he starts like challenging her and it just gets really good.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, you go, Scott.
Yeah. I do find, which I think is a nice thing, sort of, is that American policing at this stage actually looks very similar to British policing,
Yeah.
which I think is a good move forward in American
It isn't
policing.
always.
No, I'm sure it isn't always. I imagine that differs from county to county.
Some of
Similarly,
them are
similarly in this country, I bet there are really shit, unprofessional interviews that happen. I'm sure it happens.
Yeah.
But I feel like.
But this is a good one.
Yeah, I feel like.
My
yeah.
only complaint with these detectives is that they interrupt her when she's kind of talking about stuff,
right.
and I'd like to see where her thought would end up.
Yeah.
But they kind of interrupt her all like, yeah, so that does annoy me sometimes. It's just like, what was she going to say? But
Right. No.
can't do anything about that now. But yeah, obviously she's still going with the zip not all the way, up.
Yeah.
Why didn't he get out himself? If he could. It just isn't. It makes no sense. Like her story is officially making no sense.
Yeah.
All she's doing now is just repeating that. Her plan wasn't to go upstairs and to fall asleep. It wasn't malicious. It wasn't intentional. And now I think Scott now is in there just saying like, well, what was it then? What was your plan? Like what?
Yeah. Right.
What purpose was this? Of just going upstairs. What do you do in bed? You sleep. So
Yeah.
why would you go upstairs? Do you know what I mean? So he's kind of. It's like, how we are. Like we're now just sick of it. Like just tell us the answers, lady. Do you know what I mean? But yeah. Right, next one. Ready?
I'm blaming it on the wine.
Blaming it on the wine.
So you guys are like assuming that,
You keep saying we're assuming. Well, we're not. We
We're
haven't assumed
asking you
anything.
questions.
but you guys are assuming that that's what I did.
No, by what,
Like, this is-
the facts of what happened, we got there, you said you pulled him out of a suitcase, you said you went up, you went to bed. We're not assuming that. These are the facts that you're telling us.
But
Now
what
we're
you said
asking
is
you
like,
to
oh, I'm
explain them.
tired. Oh, I'm tired.
Well, that's what you told me on a sworn recorded statement yesterday. Because when I said, oh, you went upstairs and passed out, you were like, no, I did not pass out. You got attitude with me because you were you
Yep.
thought I was assuming that you were drunk. So that's an assumption. That was an assumption when I said
Yeah.
you passed out. And guess what? You corrected me.
You were very adamant about the fact that both of you had your wits about you. What's your favorite word to use?
Compass mentis.
You've used it today, too, to say that you guys were within your wits. There's two empty bottles of wine.
No, but we didn't drink both of them.
I think you did.
We didn't.
There's receipts for the
They were
statements
both
that day.
purchased yesterday, so I don't know how you didn't, because they weren't there the day before.
The one
There's two
was.
Publix receipts from yesterday.
Mhm.
Only thing purchased on either one was a single bottle of wine, 2 of them. So we have each bottle of wine that was empty in your garbage can that you purchased yesterday, or he purchased, but you two would have consumed together.
Okay, well, I
I mean, there's receipts, so it's not even worth the going back.
So this is, so I don't know what you guys are, I don't know.
We were just hoping that we could figure
I made a couple of notes.
Oh.
She's deferring blame very quickly.
Mhm.
I can't remember what. She was just, oh yeah, she was like, it was the drink.
Yeah,
I'm
that
blaming
is
the wine.
yeah, that is now her narrative.
Yeah.
Is that it is now the drink that
Yeah.
she was adamantly saying she didn't have.
That it wasn't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, madness.
And now it has now been proven
Mm.
that it was more than the half bottle
Yeah.
of wine and the one
'Cause
bottle.
it
It was 2 bottles of wine.
Because they were bought on the same day.
And she had said previously, in the first lot of clips we were looking at, when they asked her, had they left the house that day? And they went, yeah, we went to, I don't know what the shop's called, but we went to this shop, or he went to this shop. And then they've now found these receipts, which, prove that's, is actually what happened. And it actually happened twice, and they got a bottle of wine each time.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. So it was more booze. It's just like a weird thing to lie about. I just don't understand why that was a lie.
Yeah, right.
Just say you had 2 bottles of wine.
Yeah. I think, though, she's probably thinking that if she's sober, or if they perceive her as sober, she's more trustworthy.
But it's something that has been so easy to prove.
Yeah, no, it doesn't
different.
Yeah, but that just means she's an idiot.
Yeah,
if you ask me.
she is an idiot.
She's just
100%.
not. She's just thought they're not going to figure that out. I'll just tell them I was sober. Or she's embarrassed about being drunk and being an alcoholic. That's the only other thing
that
I could think of.
Possibly, she doesn't want to admit that she's got a problem, But another thing as well is that, she's saying, I don't know if you kind of caught on, but she was saying that she doesn't remember taking those videos.
Right. Yeah, she did, yeah.
Yeah, she does not have any recollection.
No, that's
of
what
those
she's
videos.
saying.
That's what she's saying.
Yeah.
But she, very specifically remembers, getting into the suitcase, her zipping it up, only, very specific detail, only this way up, seeing fingers, laughing, joking, but then she instantly blacks out.
Right.
And then remembers walking to bed, waiting for 30 minutes, and then falling asleep.
Sure.
So this, time period of, I don't know how long.
Yeah, right.
10 minutes or
There's
whatever.
there's nothing there.
Completely erased from her memory. But she remembers really specific details either end of it. Fair enough if she didn't, if she did black out and she didn't remember the end, when she went to bed.
Yeah, right.
Waited 30 minutes, thinking, oh, my plan is, I've got a plan even though I'm drunk, is to wait for him to come upstairs. And then she fell asleep. She remembers all of that specific detail, but not her sitting there for however long.
And laughing at him.
Laughing. I mean, it's a traumatising event to witness. So how could she not remember that?
Yeah, no.
She can. That's my opinion.
Yeah, she must be able to. I can't see, unless she's actually, unless because it's traumatic, her brain is shutting it down and she's not remembering it that way. But again,
she doesn't seem very traumatised, in my opinion.
She doesn't know. She doesn't seem that particularly, no.
I mean, the fact that if she didn't remember her boyfriend being in a suitcase, found
But she does. But you're sorry, yeah.
Found him the next day.
Yeah.
And is obviously mortified,
yeah.
Traumatized. She's definitely not acting it, in my opinion.
No.
And then she sees the video, and she just goes, "I don't remember."
Yeah, right.
There's no oh my god,
yeah.
I don't remember this. What the fuck? Oh, is that him in there? Oh god, I don't even remember. She's just I don't remember. I don't want to watch this anymore. And it's just
she's shutting down, isn't she? At that point,
she's just got no emotions still. It stresses me out. I just don't understand how she can be this way if she apparently didn't remember taking it.
Yeah, right.
So I think she did remember taking it.
Yeah,
and she was very turning fuck. The videos, fuck.
Yeah. I think you might be right. I'd be surprised if she doesn't remember them. Truth for life.
She has to.
Honest truth.
It just doesn't make any sense. But they're really starting to kind of put the pressure on her now. You know, Scott's getting in there and he's just saying, like, you know, you getting up and walking away, like, how is that not intentional? You know, they're questioning how it's not intentional now, which is great because she keeps going on about it. So.
Yeah, the tone of the whole interview's changed, doesn't it, at this point? Yeah,
they're really kind of, they don't want to kind of hear her explain anymore. It's kind of like, well, now tell me this then. So how is it not intentional?
Answer our questions.
Yeah. So. Right, so there's a lot of back and forth and it gets kind of like more repetitive arguing. You know, him saying like, well, how did you go to bed? You know, if it wasn't intentional. And she's like, it wasn't intentional. It just gets quite repetitive because she's not giving him the answers, like any answer. She's just saying it wasn't intentional. Yeah. And he's just like, how was it not intentional? Because it makes no sense, obviously.
No. Well, yeah, you've done an action that that would have had to have been intentional. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, like, nothing kind of more amounts from it. It's just a lot of kind of back and forth, and it just gets heated, and it's quite funny. But so I'm not going to include any more kind of those clips. Okay. So Sarah, when she came in, she said she had like a few questions, and they said that's fine. We'll go over them a bit later. So now they're just kind of going over that.
Other than this, so initially, what was the cause of death?
She is still pending because she wants to hold the body for an additional day to see if more of those bruises turn into something bigger. And she's doing some other tests that she's got to do. So she's pending it for now.
So, and that couldn't have been because of him being in the suitcase? Or y'all are saying that I physically did it?
That's what she's determining.
So
the ones on the head, I asked her, could that have been from the suitcase, and she said she didn't think so.
I didn't touch him, nor did he touch me.
Okay.
I'm leaving it at that.
Okay.
So I don't know if you all know how to do this because so that's what I was going to get ready to ask you. So are you all updating his parents today or when you get final whatevers?
What does it matter? Why? What we tell his parents? What do you mean?
Because
we're gonna talk with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I have to.
But it's gonna come down to me.
What do you mean?
Like, so it's being put on me.
Who said that?
But I'm not. So what is it you would tell them?
We're gonna give them an update, just like we gave you an update on their autopsy.
Okay. So it's whatever bruise,
Well, here's the thing.
Whatever on the head.
We had to deliver news to them last night that their son was dead. There's not a whole lot of conversation that goes on after that. It's not a very easy thing to do.
Was it yesterday or Sunday? Sunday. Today's Tuesday, right?
Did we not meet you yesterday? We met you yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm just asking. Right? Did we not meet yesterday?
It's a valid question.
Really? Yes, on Monday.
Okay.
Got it.
Perfect.
So I don't know if I ask you guys or how I find this out other than talking to his parents, which is not going to happen.
Yeah, probably a terrible idea.
How do you guys suggest me finding out about funeral?
That's not even something that's been probably talked about between the family. That's not something we ask. We have no way of...
I didn't know, that's why I'm asking.
It's
So...
going to be up to them to make their arrangements of what they want to do. Like she just told you this quick, just being told last night, I'll pretty much be willing to wager that they have not even considered what they're going to do.
His body can't even be released, so...
I've been there with parents, grandparents, and uncles. So, I don't know if I have the right to or not, but, like, I was going to call his former employees, whom he really cared for, and let them know.
You can call whoever you want.
I just don't want to do something that I'm not supposed to. How do I go about getting his wedding ring, engagement ring?
It's at the medical examiner's office. It'll come to us eventually, and then...
It'll be released to
Oh,
the next
family.
of kin.
Yeah, okay.
I bought it for him.
That is a civil issue. It was on his finger, it goes to them, they're the ones that are gonna release it, we don't have any say in that.
So I won't get that back.
I find it intriguing that she still wants to know what the cause of the death is. Is that, and my other note is that because she can then try and explain it away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why she wants to know. Yeah, she wants to know it as soon as possible so she can get her story straight.
Yeah, right.
Like, you know, obviously you think of a story that is plausible as to why it's happened. That has got nothing to do with her.
No, yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Did she give him a whack? I could have asked this earlier. No one will know. Did she give him a whack whilst he was in the suitcase?
Well, because obviously they're talking about the suitcase flipping. They've mentioned that
Could
a few
have happened
times.
then, I suppose.
You know, in the videos that we watched, it was on its
On its front.
and then on its
Yeah.
back. You know, so it obviously turned at
Yes.
some point, and
Yeah.
the detectives did say in the still photo, which we didn't see, it was also in a different position, like, you know, turned or something.
Right.
So it's moving. I
Yeah.
doubt very much George is capable of moving it himself
From inside?
from inside.
I doubt it. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And it was only Sarah in the
Yeah,
house.
yeah,
then.
yeah.
It was just them two.
Yeah.
So she's obviously
She's been moving him around.
moving
yeah,
him
cool.
around. Why? We don't know. But she did say, I flipped him.
Yeah.
She had
Right.
said, I
Yeah,
flipped him.
Yeah,
She hasn't answered why though. They did ask, but she didn't
No.
answer it. She's
And I wonder if that's
really
because
fast.
she did think he would be able to get out if it was flipped over. Maybe. Don't know. But
But then she was mocking him and stuff like
Yeah.
that, so it
Oh,
just
yeah.
didn't really seem like she wanted him to
No,
get out. Not
no.
anytime soon,
Very
anyway.
true. The only other thing I've noted that she said is it's being, or is it? It was either is it or it's being put on me. So she's
It's
already
being put on me.
already under the impression that when the police go out and tell the family,
Yeah.
she's going to get the blame for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's obviously scared about that, or at least historic, like in the other videos,
Yeah.
she was worried about the family knowing, and if it's being put on her, then they're going to come and get her. I feel like that's what she's going to come on
Right.
to.
My theory kind of is that, you know, obviously she's been trying to play the victim a lot in this. So once people start hearing about what happened that hasn't come from her mouth,
Right.
she's worried that then obviously she's going to get the blame, obviously, because it's pretty obvious by this point. You know, she didn't kill him, obviously, but like she didn't let him out of the suitcase, which then means he died.
Led to his death, yeah.
Yeah. Like it wasn't by her hands necessarily, is what I mean.
Sure.
So I think then, you know, she was saying, she doesn't have any family. So I don't know. And I also she was saying that they don't get on, the family, hers his
and his,
family.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I get my words muddled. You know, so maybe she was thinking, you know, she would be playing the victim, so she'll obviously then just go on to live her life, and maybe they'll welcome her into the family as the victim.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't really understand it. It doesn't
doubt
make
it.
any sense to me.
I don't know. It sounds
No,
more
that
like
sounds rubbish to me as well when I
yeah.
said it out loud.
Yeah. After it came out your mouth. Yeah, I think she's, well, from what she's saying, and obviously you can't trust what she's saying necessarily, but she's scared of his family when he was alive, and she's scared of it now. That's what I take from that. I don't think there's anything about her being accepted into his family. I think that would be.
But she's
obscure from what
she's
said.
definitely trying to control the narrative,
Yeah.
because she's saying like, can I call these people about this? And it's like these people that he worked with and stuff like. It's like, why do you want to be going around calling everyone? But I think it's because she wants to say it from her perspective.
It's possible.
So she is still controlling that narrative, even though it's going to be plastered all over the news.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to get everywhere, but she wants to be the person that says it. That's why straight away she was saying, like, do I need to call his family? Do I need to tell the property manager? Do I need to tell all these people? It's just like, babes, like, you know,
kind of
chill
let's
out.
figure
Like,
this out first,
it's
yeah.
just happened. Like, why are you not grieving? You should be in a grieving state. You know, why are you then being like, right, let me make a list, I'll call everyone, let them know the news, and yeah, it's weird.
It is, yeah, yeah.
But I
It's a bit
imagine,
strange.
like, kind of would she try and twist it to make it seem like it was better for her, but I don't know how you can in this story.
No.
I fell asleep. What?
Yeah, it doesn't work, does it?
No, it doesn't work.
play well for her in any way you look at it.
No.
Or it shouldn't do anyway.
So there are a lot of long pauses towards the end. I think everyone just kind of gets sick of each other. And because they're kind of getting nowhere in the sense of like, you know, why did you go upstairs and go to sleep? It wasn't intentional. Repeated over and over again. You know, Scott has one last go at trying to find out the why she left him there, but it didn't go anywhere. She just sits there and goes on about how she has to live without him now, and how what she saw the next morning, which is George's body, is punishment enough. She repeats that like 3 times.
Right, punishment for what? Punishment for her committing a crime?
Yeah, well, she's saying like, you know, I saw him dead. That's punishment enough. I shouldn't be punished anymore.
Yeah, right, yeah.
It's just like, you know.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
you know what you've done. And it's just like, you're not convincing anyone. Like, they're not going to be like, okay, Sarah, we feel sorry for you. You've seen enough. No. And then Sarah gets her fingernails swabbed, but, like, everyone stays silent. It's just, like,
Yeah.
just feels, like, awkward.
Sure.
I'm sure it's not, but, like, I felt awkward just, like, watching it. Okay, this is the last clip.
You're not free to go. Okay. Oh, do you promise everything you told us was the truth? Or no? Everything we've talked about today?
Yes. What do you mean?
He asked to swear. Remember how I swore you yesterday on the audio recording? I just forgot, so he raised his hand to remind me, to tell you.
Okay.
Do you promise and swear that everything we talked about today has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
For which
True
everything?
and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
What, that it wasn't intentional?
Everything you've
you
said
told
today, everything that's come out of your mouth has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
To the best of my knowledge.
Correct. Yes.
Why?
Because
That's how
anytime
you
we talk
swear.
to somebody, we want to assure that everything that we've talked about is,
True and accurate to the best of that person's knowledge.
it's not a trick question,
To the best of my knowledge?
to the best of your knowledge.
Everything that you've told us today is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, but it was not intentional.
Okay. Okay.
All right, do me a favor, stand up. I need you to turn around, face the wall, put your hands behind your back. Do you have anything in your pockets that I should know about?
No.
Okay.
Why is this happening?
Because George is dead.
Not intentionally.
We understand that.
He's still dead.
Well, we don't
Someone
really
needs to
understand
call
that.
Brian, please.
Okay.
Or can I not make a phone call?
You'll be able to make a phone call when we get you down to the jail.
So
You'll
why
be
is this
afforded-
happening? So this was a trick.
No, it's not a
No,
trick.
not
How's
a
it a
trick.
trick?
So,
I'm in here to ask you to explain a few things to us, and
You were read your rights.
your response to everything was basically, I didn't do it.
intentionally.
I have to go through that.
Doesn't matter. He's still dead. Do me a favor. Have a seat.
Really, guys?
Really.
So if I didn't show up? Why is
You're
this
trying-
happening?
Because
Before y'all said I could leave,
when
that I was done after that.
we were done, yes, we were done. Absolutely.
So now, so that's what it is,
We are done.
right? Not intentional.
Okay.
So what am I supposed to do now?
You will,
Someone needs to call Brian.
okay.
Lucas is waiting for Mom to come home. This was not my intention. I thought I was waiting for you all to come and figure out what's what and how many.
That's what we're trying to do.
And I was going to be able to go home and see Lucas. Now he's just not going to have me come home. So there's nothing that I can do.
All right, no.
There's nothing that I can do in order to go home and see Lucas and prepare.
Not right now, no. You'll be afforded a time in court, you'll be afforded an attorney, you'll be afforded a chance to talk to a judge and all that stuff will be worked out.
But what's the time frame for that, though?
I have no way of being able to tell you. You should make first appearance probably by tomorrow morning, if not tonight, depending how things are busy, how quickly you get down there. I
had a
don't work
sneaky
in there.
suspicion this was going to happen. And I need water, like, really bad, please.
Have a seat.
You all tricked me down here.
Absolutely did not.
I just got those.
Okay. They are not allowed in the jail.
So I can't even smoke cigarettes if I go.
What? Am I good on that? She is fucked up.
And what am I supposed to do with my car?
You'll be fine where it is. When you get down there, you'll have 3 phones. You'll be able to call.
What, as soon as possible?
Yeah, once you get down there, get booked in, you'll be able to use a phone in the waiting
But
area.
how long will that take? Because I need to talk to Brian.
I don't know, it depends how busy, how quickly they get you through. I probably would say within the hour. It's a free phone
Yes?
call
Yeah.
in the lobby. It's a free phone
All
call.
I'm doing is bringing you there, sign
Yep.
a piece of paper, and you're going to do it.
She has no clue.
So can I ask you, or whoever it is, those holding cells, the holding cells,
Mhm.
am I going to be put in one of those?
I don't know.
Last time I had a panic attack.
Let them know that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you're familiar with the big bay. As long as you go in and you act civil to them, they'll set you in the big bay. And you'll be left there for
Can
a
you
while.
request that while I'm there?
No, that's not up to us. We don't work at the jail.
As
So
long
I
as,
can ask.
like he's saying, is if you don't
If
act
you
up,
go in and act like this, you'll go in and they'll put you in the big bay. If you go in there screaming and kicking and yelling and
Why would
cursing
I
at
do
people,
that?
I don't know. I'm just letting you know that's what happens. That's how they weed people out. If you go in acting like this,
So I ask for the big bay?
no, they'll put you there as long as you're acting like this.
Yeah, because the last time I had a major panic attack on those little things.
Hey,
let them know.
change the cuffs. Call it
Go ahead, stand up.
I have not
So
found
what am I
anything.
going to do with my purse? Oh, sorry.
Your purse is going to come, but the cigarettes and stuff can't, so.
I put the lock up too, my bad.
Oh, no, it's all good. Mine are the opposite, so.
What made you all decide to do this?
Made us decide to do this?
Uh-huh.
George is dead.
You guys, I knew this was going to happen.
You did? Okay.
So I came
Well, we
down here
gave-
willingly.
Yes, absolutely. We were trying to figure out what's going on. We're still trying to figure out what's going on.
Unintentionally.
Well, intentional or not, George is dead. You act like when you say unintentionally, that absolves you from everything.
I need to get, I have my, I don't know if it's able to be or
They need
not.
your oil, then. I apologize.
No, no.
I have things in my car that I need to.
Okay, so that was the last clip. I just find it so funny that Sarah is just so delusional that she thought she was going to go home
Yeah, right.
after her boyfriend literally dying in her or their shared home.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, she's arrested doesn't mean she's guilty or not. You know, she's just being charged.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And what she is being charged with is second-degree murder. That's not
Right.
said on there, but it is
No.
second-degree murder, which does make sense because it wasn't by her hand.
Yeah, right, yeah. But
It
it's
doesn't
her
mean
fault.
obviously, it doesn't mean obviously that that's what, when they go to court and everything, that's what it ends up as.
Yeah, sure.
I think they can change it depending on what the judge says and stuff like that. Like, I don't think it's like, it has to be second degree or nothing. I think it can be more. I don't know. I don't live in America,
Right.
but yeah, so I just think that's quite funny. Like, she's just completely caught off guard and she's just like, and she like does not want to declare that what she has said is the truth.
No.
She's
well,
like, what do you mean?
I think
And
that's...
they're like, well, you know,
I
what you
think...
said is all true. And she's just like, what? That it wasn't intentional. And it's just
Yeah.
like, oh my
Not
god,
that
lady.
one bit, the whole
Yeah.
conversation. I think it's a bit whack, though, that the police officers left that to the last minute to, like, read her rights in that situation. They should have done that at the beginning of the thing, no?
Yeah, I suppose they don't have to.
I guess
But
not.
I suppose the thing
As
is,
long as they do it during the account.
because the thing is, if you go into like a police interview and they kind of start reading you your rights, I feel like you would get your back up a bit and just
maybe.
oh, is this not? Am I not here for a conversation? I'm here for an interrogation.
Right.
The mood would switch.
Potentially, yeah, potentially. It's
And
not.
I feel
it's
like
not a
with
conversation
Sarah, it
anymore.
would have.
Yeah, right. It's not
But I think as long as they say it, it doesn't matter.
like it's legal.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So yes, she was just like completely caught off guard, and then obviously handcuffed and everything, and then just her and Scott. I feel like if she wasn't in a police station, she probably would have punched him. Like, could you see that look that she was giving him? Just like not intentional.
Yeah, she wasn't very happy about it, was she? Yeah, she also said she felt
such an
like
idiot.
she got tricked into being there, which was
Yeah.
just nonsense. Isn't
She was kind of saying that throughout the interview, saying like, I don't know if I ever included it in the clip, but she was saying like, I feel like you're like feeding me.
it? Right.
And they're kind of like, no, and and she kept saying as well, didn't she, like, oh, you're assuming this, you're assuming. So she's trying to make it sound as if like they're doing something wrong, and it's just like they're not.
No, I don't.
I think they were pretty good.
It seemed like a pretty professional.
But luckily, she just talks a lot as well.
Yeah.
So they kind of blocked out. And also, something I didn't notice throughout this whole interview is that not at one point when it was starting to get a bit, did she ask for a lawyer?
No.
And I'm so surprised by that. But I think it's because she literally thought she was there for... I mean, she was there, she was like, I thought I was going home. I think she literally thought...
She was still going home after
She was
all that.
still going to go home. And it's just like...
I think as soon as that video came out on the computer with the...
She should have asked for a lawyer.
That's when... That was her opportunity to go, they've got me.
Yeah.
Like, dead to rights, basically.
Yeah.
I need a lawyer.
Yeah.
And she didn't. Luckily for the police officers, she didn't. She just kept on
She
talking
just
shit.
kept talking.
Yeah.
That just amazed me. But there we go. So she is in jail, handcuffed in jail.
Mm-hmm.
She is there. So what's your opinion then? What do you think kind of is going to happen, or?
I think it's probably highly likely she's going to get tried and found guilty. I don't really see how you couldn't. I don't really see how there's any... Lawyers are good, right? They're pretty good at getting people out of things.
Not all of them.
If they did... No, not all of them, no.
Some of them are crap.
Yeah, some of them are crap. But I just don't see any way that... I think she might be able to get like a lower charge, like manslaughter or something like that, or whatever.
I don't know if they have that in America.
Well, maybe not, but if they did, I think she could get a lower charge than second-degree murder, maybe. But I think she's going to go to prison for something.
Yeah.
Related to this.
Yeah, like I think the only thing she's got kind of on her side is the domestic abuse.
I think domestic abuse and the fact that she was actually a lot drunker than she ever claimed to be. I think they could also say she was drunk. She did pass out. She didn't have complete control over her.
I don't think that's a defence
behaviour.
though, because she got drunk. She chose to
Yeah,
get
well,
drunk.
yeah, of course.
I know
No,
it is
I
an
know.
addiction though, so it kind of depends how you view it. Like,
Yeah, sure.
you know, some people think addiction is a disease.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't help it. So, you know, but like, is she an addict as well? Like, can they
Yeah.
prove that she is an addict? You know, because you can like a drink.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And like, what's it called when you binge drink?
Right.
She might just binge drink on weekends.
Maybe. She did kind of say that
Yeah.
at points, but that might have just been cover.
But yeah, so just my general kind of things that I've learned is, you know, Sarah, she likes to have control.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to control the narrative and like what people think of her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she wanted to be the victim. She wanted to be the golden, you know, girlfriend, and George was the horrible, belligerent drunk. She's got a problem with alcohol, obviously. We don't know to what extent, but she does. George also had a history of alcohol problems and obviously the violence too.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah is manipulative, trying to say like the police officers were feeding her, that they tricked her.
Yeah,
Things like
sure.
that is manipulative.
Yeah, she's trying to control the situation.
Yeah. She's a liar, obviously. She's got no remorse for what's happened.
No, doesn't seem it.
Even if you didn't kill them by your hand, you can still feel remorse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just, yeah. You know, it's what we were saying earlier, that she's just not showing any emotion. You can still show emotion for something that's happened. It doesn't make you guilty because you feel bad because and sad that he's dead. But she wasn't even saying it just to make sure she said it.
No.
So she doesn't
really,
look
no.
evil. She's not saying like, God, I just feel so bad.
No.
That he said. She literally didn't even mention any of that. She couldn't keep her story straight. She was adding to it, adjusting it accordingly.
Well, when she was getting called out on it, yeah.
Yeah. She's a narcissist, and she loves talking about herself and how great she is. You know, she's just an A+ student. She's just great.
An A+ narcissist.
Yeah, exactly. So all of this happened in February 2020. The police, of course, interviewed other people, including the property manager, George's brother, and a neighbour. And it will be a surprise to no one that they described Sarah in a very different light to how she paints herself.
Oh, okay, all right.
So, the day after the detectives get the call about George, they interview the property manager, Melissa May Sexton. She's been the property manager the whole time Sarah and George have lived there, which is 2 years. Melissa described how shortly after moving in, Sarah would come to the office and ask to speak to Melissa privately. You could see she had bruises on her arms. Boone wanted George off of the lease and wanted to know how to go about doing that. She went on to show her bruises she had. There was a hand-shaped mark / bruise, scratches, and had at one point been taken to hospital because of an injury. So it's
Yes,
awful, isn't
yeah,
it?
no.
It's awful. As time went on, the violence seemed to get worse. Sarah would confide in Melissa a lot. Sarah would ask, you know, what am I supposed to do? How do I get rid of him? Etc. Melissa would try and help, but didn't really know what to say or do, so would try and counsel her as much as possible. But in reality, like, she knew they needed professional help. Not long after that conversation, the police were called to Sarah's property and George was arrested. Then soon after that incident, the police were called again and they were both arrested for domestic violence. The arrest information shows George's statement that Sarah was strangling him on the stairs, so he had to kick her off of him before he passed out, which is why she then had marks on her. So it was a kind of defensive, if that's true, you know.
Right, sure.
But there is a police report, an official one.
Yeah.
Melissa explains the complaints she has received in the 2 years they have lived there are between 20 to 30 noise complaints, from fighting, arguing, banging on doors, loud music, etc. This was probably exasperated, doesn't sound right, by them drinking from sunup to sundown, as described by Melissa. She had seen them both drunk, falling over, and a mess at 9 a.m. in the morning.
Right.
So that answers that then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They were definitely addicted. Melissa recalled a few incidents that give an insight into their relationship. The first one, Sarah and George had a big fight. They were both drunk. George left. George ended up wandering into a different tenant's house. The tenant came home from work to find George upstairs shouting and looking for Sarah. He was so drunk he had no idea where he was or that he was in the wrong building at all.
Right.
The second incident was Sarah accused another tenant of forcing himself upon her. George and Sarah confronted the man and his girlfriend. The girlfriend got in Sarah's face, but Sarah didn't back down and she held her own ground. She was accused of lying about this, but nothing came of it. It all just kind of fizzled out. Thirdly, in one of the vacant properties in the garden, a tent was found. It turned out George had been living in a tent for a few months because Sarah had kicked him out. And finally, Melissa received a noise complaint in May 2019 on a Friday night. Sarah was wandering around the area, not fully dressed, no shoes on, stumbling and completely off her head drunk. Melissa went over to talk with Sarah and George separately and said they are going to have a meeting on Monday about all of this. When Melissa went to their house on Monday around midday, they were both sober and had had an epiphany. They were going to sort themselves out and quit the booze. Melissa didn't receive a single complaint from May until this incident happened.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas before May, complaints would be coming in consistently, monthly, always.
Right.
So that says something. However, she did go on to say, she said to Sarah and George that if she has one more incident or complaint with them, she's kicking them out. So they could have been privately kind of going at it, they kind of...
Quietened it all.
Yeah, instead of like aimlessly wandering around drunk,
Yeah.
they kind of like locked themselves away, which...
Maybe.
That could be something, but who knows? To go 8 to 9 months without an incident is very surprising. You know, they must have still been drinking. Can't imagine they would have stopped. Maybe the neighbours were just sick of complaining about them. Melissa recalled a time she spoke with George one-on-one about the violence. George insisted it was Sarah that was the aggressor. He described her as very hands-on, in-your-face and dramatic, which Melissa could believe because Sarah had been like that with her. Melissa explained, one day Sarah kept grabbing me by the arms to the point where I told her, touch me one more time and we're going to have a problem. You know I would have just contacted the police or whatever. I asked her several times to stop touching me. So that's what George was trying to explain to Melissa, that Sarah would be the touchy, aggressive one. Sarah would never hit him, but push him or get up in his face. She would block doorways so he would physically have to move her out the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know that kind of type, don't you?
Yeah.
Whereas when Sarah confided with Melissa, she would say George drags her around the house by her hair. So very just like contradicting statements.
Hard to prove that as well.
Yeah.
Like bruises are easy to prove, or
That's
easy to
it.
show.
Like, if
but
she's not
getting
leaving
pulled by the hair or
marks.
whatever, and that, on her part,
It's a he said kind of she said situation. Obviously, she does have the bruises and the marks to prove it. But to be honest, I feel like they were both the aggressors.
Yeah, right.
Just maybe in a different way. But they antagonised each other to the point where one of them snapped first, or they both just became violent. And obviously the booze doesn't help.
No.
Melissa was adamant she never saw marks on George, but wasn't sure if that was because his skin was a darker complexion. But she barely ever saw him compared to Sarah. An interesting point Melissa made was that she never saw Sarah playing with her son when he was round. It was either George playing with him or her son just wandering around like the complex on his own.
Yeah.
So much for being the responsible one.
From what she was saying.
Exactly. Apparently George signed up to AA, but it didn't last long, and Melissa wasn't even sure if that was true. It was just what Sarah told her. Sarah's nickname around the area, like around the complex, from what I could make out from the recording, was Drunky the Bear, which seems appropriate. Finally, Melissa confirmed something that I had been thinking. I think she, Sarah, was more concerned about the image that was being put in my head about them, and I think she was just trying to paint her picture, which is what I was thinking throughout like the interview.
Yeah.
She kept saying like how good they were, what a wholesome evening they were having, and you know, I would never drink, I'm so responsible, blah 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 blah. So yeah, that was I didn't really say, but that was an interview that Chelsea and Scott did have with Melissa. Yeah, it was just. Did I say that? Yeah, it was just a recorded sound. There was no footage. The same day, George's brother was interviewed at 1:20 p.m. His name is Juan Torres. He revealed that he actually spoke to his brother the same day that he died at 7:30 p.m. It was only for 4 minutes, but still, at least they got to talk. Juan said he wasn't going to pick up the phone call because of all the fights and arguments him and Sarah have, but he did anyway. A couple of minutes into the conversation, Sarah is heard in the background arguing with George, demanding the phone back as she needs to call her brother. George refused and said he's talking to his brother at the moment, just to wait. Juan goes on to say, she starts arguing with him and telling him that, I'll tell them what you've done to me, you choked me, this and that.
She was saying that in the
She
background.
was saying that, yeah. She starts arguing with him and telling him that, I'll tell them what you've done to me, you choked me and this and that. He described George as staying calm and telling Juan that he had to go. They told each other they loved each other and that was it. So at least they got to say that they loved each other one last time. Detective Scott asked how Sarah sounded. Juan said she sounded crazy, like she always did. She was always like that, crazy. She would just start yelling. Juan admits his brother and Sarah were both violent towards each other, but Sarah would victim blame and say George is strangling her. He said they would fight and hit each other because there was times he had come here and she hit him with a phone and he had a black eye. But he had never actually witnessed this. It was just what his brother told him. Detective Chelsea asked if he had ever seen any marks on George. Juan said he had. The time George came around with the black eye, he had scratches all over his neck. Neck scratches. Sarah would have marks too. They would just beat each other. George didn't confide with his family much about what was going on with the violence. He said he didn't really like to talk about it, but everybody knew it, which is so sad and such a common thing with domestic abuse. People know what's going on, but they just don't speak up. Juan describes how they would come over to the family meals, events, and they would fight. They just didn't hide it from anyone. George's mum didn't like it and would tell them to go. One day, Boone came over and she always tried to hug everyone in the Torres family, but nobody wanted to be hugged. And by doing this, she actually pushed over George's dad, who's like an elderly man.
Yeah.
Juan said more often than not she was intoxicated when she came over. So this could explain why George's family never liked her and took her in.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know, she's just like, she's probably drunk and thinking, oh, hi.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
just like, and they're just like, get away from us. Because they probably, well, they see the fight and they see the violence and they know the history.
You don't want to be involved with it, do you?
They obviously love George, so they're happy to have him around regardless of his behaviour, which, you know. But why would they want her there and to hug her? They're just like, get away. The final interview that I found audio of was of a neighbour, Vincent. This interview was on the following day on the 27th at 6 p.m. He lived next door to Sarah and George for a year. Directly next door, their walls are adjoined, so he heard a lot, especially because his bedroom wall was next to the living room. I don't know how that works, like logistically, but they would argue daily, verbally and physically. He could hear when one of them was getting pushed against the wall. Vincent explained, I've heard them being thrown down the stairs before. I've never said anything about it, just minding my own business, because I literally found out that this happens so often, and they were known by the local police, and all the neighbours knew and just stopped calling the police because they were sick of it. It was like a weekly thing, you know, once or twice a week. So, I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? Everyone was just sick of their behaviour, which is just so sad, because that's why I was saying at the beginning, like no one was expecting this, or were they? Because everyone just left this violent behaviour just to kind of manifest. That's it. So obviously shows more people did know about their abusive relationship and just gave up on trying.
There's only so much you can do though, isn't there?
There
as
is.
A bystander sort of thing, you know, if you have complained about it and all that kind of stuff, what else do you do?
That's it. They're two grown adults and they're choosing to still be together.
Yeah, right.
But obviously, like, there is shelters if one of them did want to go to a shelter.
Yeah, of course. No, there are options, but if you're not aware of them or if you're not willing to go and take them on because it means you have to do something with yourself, then it's...
Yeah, so it just makes you think whether George's death could have been avoided. But as they are both grown adults, you can't force them to not be together. I just think more could have been done. Like with the police and stuff, they obviously were having issues. One night Vincent was outside smoking a cigarette when Sarah came up to him and said something like, I know you can hear the noise through the walls. If you hear things get loud, can you, like, respectfully keep your mouth shut? Don't tell anyone.
Right.
So you would have thought she would say, like, if you hear a noise, like, call for help. Because
any normal situation, yeah. But
you know, because that's not good. That's not a normal thing to happen.
No. But she's protecting herself and her home by saying that.
That's it. So is it because she was scared that she was going to get kicked out by Melissa, or she just didn't want people to talk about her and George, like, and how everything was perfect? She's just again trying to control the situation.
Yeah, sure.
So Vincent actually hung out with a couple, like, now and then. He plays music and writes songs, and Sarah and George overheard him playing and asked Vincent to, like, come over and play some songs that he'd written. George is also an artist, which is why they were painting. So Vincent said, they were cool people, but there was something going on, especially with Sarah. You know, there was something going on with her. You could tell it was like she wasn't all there. He recalls a time when he was leaving for school at 9 a.m, sometimes earlier, and he would see George stumbling around outside, but the only time he never saw them drunk was when Lucas was around.
Mm.
But other than that, they were drunk all the time.
Right.
So at least they did one good thing and they weren't just wasted in front of Lucas. Because I was thinking, like, why the frick is Brian letting Lucas
Allowing
go
it,
there?
yeah, right.
I mean, I don't know why he is anyway when there's violence in the home.
If he knows, and he might not know if he doesn't live near it.
Well, he did know. Didn't he, Brian? He said he's been arrested 5 times.
No, true. Yeah, no, true.
You know, unless he's only just learned that information, but he didn't seem like he just learned it.
No, he didn't.
Vincent was home on the day of George's death from 1 p.m. Around 7 p.m. is when he started hearing their normal screaming at each other, telling each other, I hate you, etc. Even though Sarah was adamant they were having a lovely day together. It was a good day. Unless that's what she considers a good day. Later on in the evening, Vincent starts hearing more noises next door. Quote, that night around 10:30, 11, I heard it get escalated. The voices got louder. They were yelling and yelling, and then it got quiet for a little while. And then I heard this really loud slamming noise. It was around 11:15 p.m. Something was bouncing down the stairs between like the railing and the wall and the stairs, like all the way down. It was such a powerful hit against the wall, it made my wall shake. And I felt it, and I looked at the wall and thought, that was a little much. And this whole time I thought it was him, but...
That sounds like a suitcase went down the stairs.
Which might be how he's got
Yeah,
the
the
head
bruises,
injury, the
yeah,
marks.
makes sense.
There we go.
When it was, yeah, okay.
What were you gonna
That
say?
video when she was laughing at him,
Yeah,
they were downstairs.
it looked like it was downstairs.
The suitcase was on its front because it's come down the stairs that way. Potentially.
We don't know.
We don't know.
So, has Vincent just revealed how George got those additional marks on his body?
I was just thinking, so if they were at some point he's gotten into the suitcase.
He's
It's
in the
weird.
suitcase. It's strange, isn't it? So this is my theory I'm going to throw out there, which
Go.
it's just one that I thought of while I was writing my notes. So what could have happened is they were arguing. Sarah was strangling George because she's done that in the past,
Okay.
according to a statement. He passes out, or maybe she thinks she's killed him. She puts him in the suitcase. Throws him down the stairs, because this happened maybe upstairs. But then he starts talking and moving. So, you know, I don't know the after of that. But could that have been a possibility? I don't know. I don't know how easy it is to shove a passed out person into a suitcase. I have absolutely no idea. But the timestamp on the video of George in the suitcase starts at 11:13 p.m. So Vincent's timeline is adding up a little bit. The silence for 15 minutes as well shows something happened in order for the screaming to stop.
Of course, yeah.
The arguments usually end violent, so why would this one be any different? I'm sure more people were interviewed than those three, but they gave a lot of vital information that really shows an insight into like the relationship and like the home situation. So back to Sarah. So she's arrested and she's charged with second-degree murder. Not surprisingly, Sarah doesn't have like a normal time in jail. In fact, she makes it very difficult for herself. Remember, she always has to have control. She's shown that on many occasions and even admitted that herself as to why she doesn't drink. It's because she wants control, whatever. But in the 3 years that she's in jail, 3 years she's waiting, she has gone through 6 attorneys. So obviously, just after getting arrested, COVID happened, which caused natural delays in the sentencing and the trial. But because of the constant changing of attorneys, the proceedings couldn't officially start as the work necessary to be able to give a fair trial hadn't been compiled together. The attorneys quit due to irreconcilable differences between the attorney and client and conflicts of interest. Now, after watching the interrogation video, I'm not surprised. She is a very irritating woman and would be so hard to work with.
Absolutely.
especially as she needs constant control and consistently lies about everything. In order to gain some control, she started writing to the judge that is overseeing the case, which is not common, I don't think.
No.
It is addressed to the judge, Judge Wayne Wotton, and her attorney. So her first letter was sent on the 20th of April 2022, and the letter was about her then current attorney, Mauricio Padilla, who filed to withdraw as her attorney on the 18th and asked for a continuance, which is just more time to get the evidence and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah was annoyed because apparently she wasn't told by any official person. She found out from her ex-husband. Quote, after making a commitment to me as my attorney over the past 2 years and 2 months on going to fully and sufficiently represent me, also being made to believe we are a team, I am completely blindsided. And that's fair. You know, she wasn't told, apparently, by her attorney that he's off, he's sick of her, he's gone. But, like, why are you writing to the judge about this? Like, the judge doesn't need to hear about, like, the drama that is going on with you.
No, right.
Like, he'll hear it anyway, like, when they go to these, like, proceedings and stuff. Like, they'll say, like, are you ready to go to trial? And he'll be like, no. Yeah, so he doesn't need to know about, like, the drama side of it. He just needs to know the facts. She writes many, many letters to the judge. The poor guy. So she wrote a letter in October, November and December of 2022, and then in January, March and May of 2023.
Right.
I'm not going to go into all of them. Not all of them have been released anyway. But the one in March, she's basically very unhappy that she believes her attorney, who is new, what's his name? Mr. Banowitz. Basically, he hasn't seen her in like weeks, and she's complaining about it. She's like, in over 6 weeks, I haven't seen you. The 2 phone numbers that you've given me don't work. You know, and they haven't been working for the past 8 months. I try and ring one, nothing happens. It's like, why are you telling a judge about this crap? Do you know what I mean? So he's clearly kind of like blanking her calls. That's the vibe that I get.
He sounds like he's ghosting her, yeah.
But like, it kind of seems like she'd be the type of person that would be calling constantly. You know what she was like with the detectives?
Yeah.
Updates, updates, updates.
Yeah.
I bet she'd be doing that,
What do you know?
but worse with her attorney.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, all the letters are online, so you can look into them yourself. But she just sounds like an absolute nut job. Like, she is not doing herself any favours at all. Like, they just become more and more unhinged. And like, it's just all going to the judge. It's just like, I don't know if like legally or professionally, like the judge can take these into account with anything, like with the case, because it's kind of got nothing to do with the case. So I don't know. But like, if I was a judge, I'd be like, this fucking woman, let's put her away. She's so annoying.
Like I say, I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with the case though, really. It's more just a complaint about the judicial proceedings.
That's it, exactly. And another thing she was complaining about is that she wasn't allowed to go to her PTC like meetings, which is a pre-trial conference. And what that is basically what I mentioned earlier, is where the defense attorney and then the state attorney come before the judge, and they declare whether they're ready for trial or not.
Right.
And then they set a date and stuff like that for the trial. So she apparently has not been allowed to go to any of them, but she doesn't really need to go to them because it's not like they're really talking about anything. But she is pissed off that she is not allowed to go to them, or that he's not allowing her to go to them. You know, she's like, where are my rights? Oh, you're you know, oh, my rights. Yeah. She's like, shut up. So, but her wishes came true, and she went to her pre-trial conference on the 10th of April 2023. The state attorney, Mr. Cacciatore, says they are ready to go. Mr. Banowitz states he isn't ready and requests another continuance. They are having trouble finding an expert who is willing to work with the for the GAC rates, which is Justice Administrative Commission, which is an essential part to their case. None of the prior attorneys, all 5 of them, started this process, hence why he was behind schedule. Mr. Banowitz has spoken to 3 experts and none have contracted GAC, and they are not willing to work with GAC, which I think is basically a way for them to get paid.
Yeah, it's how, I don't know exactly, I'm just saying this out of my head, if you know what I mean. But I think that's, you know, when a criminal, the police will say, if you can't afford a lawyer, one will be provided for you.
That's what
that's
this is.
where that money comes from.
Yeah, but basically they can't find anyone that wants to do that with GAC, because it's not like enough money or whatever. Judge Whitten allows the continuance, but he said he doesn't want a forever delay. Quote, I will give reasonable amounts of time to prepare the defence. The defence is entitled to an adequate defence, but they're not necessarily entitled to the exact defence they would prefer to have if resources were unlimited. So that says it all really, doesn't it? If they can't find an expert to say what they want or to work with them, there's nothing they can do, and they'll just have to go to trial without that expert. You know, you can't force someone to go on trial, can you? Or to like be an expert on the trial.
No, right, no, you can't.
They can't just keep waiting forever for someone to come forward. It's just not how it works.
My only problem with that is that if you have enough money, you can get people to stand on trial for whatever the fuck you like. But anyway, let's not talk about money.
Oh yeah, the court system's effed.
Anyway.
Mr. Banowitz says they are talking to people at the battered women's shelters, trying to get their psychologist to talk, but no one is willing to testify. Partly because the compensation rate from GAC is not very good, and because the case has had so much notoriety that people don't want to get involved. And also probably they don't want to get involved in her defence.
No.
So this gives an insight into their defence narrative, battered women syndrome, which I don't think is actually called that anymore, because it just says that it's only women that can have it and men can have it as well.
Sure.
But that's what they call it as, battered women syndrome. I assume that's what they are trying to get her diagnosed with the expert, but no one's willing to do it. Either way, the judge sets the new pre-trial for the 11th of July, which has been and gone, and the trial to start on the 24th of July. I don't actually know the outcome of the pre-trial that happened on the 11th. I did have a little Google, but I didn't see anything, so I don't know what's happened. If someone could let us know, that'd be great. Maybe that lives in America. Oh God, just another letter. So her next letter was dated the 15th of May, 2023, and it just gets even more unhinged, writing like capital letters, and she's just a nut job. And this is to the judge. It's just like, you're crazy. So it's like, my truth needs to be heard, and it is my right. Do not give me rights, expect me not to fully utilise them. I voted for the president and governor while here in jail, and stop violating what I've been trying to utilise or lessen the value of my capabilities and opportunities. I am not apologetic in any way for being an observant, hard-working, above-average, non-stereotypical inmate. I can only imagine, sadly, how others, not as outspoken as myself, have been mistreated, overlooked, and dehumanised. Get it together. That's what she writes to the judge. She goes on to list the start of her attorney visits, etc. And she hasn't seen him for 12 weeks, only met him 6 times, 3 video visits, 2 court dates, approximately 7,200 hours of representation, and states because of these her human and constitutional rights are being violated. She actually lists what the constitutional rights are that have been violated, but I haven't included them. She accuses the judge of being paid off by journalists or podcasters or selling information because he didn't implement a gag order, so now her case has turned into an unnecessary witch hunt. Asking the judge, what is your cut then, Your Honour? I mean, the cheek of that. Like, I just don't understand the point of this letter. Like, what is she trying to achieve with this? Like, she's just trying to piss him off, I swear.
Make people feel sorry for her as well.
Like, I bet
she's victimising herself again.
Yeah.
I'm being
and the thing is, she knows these are going to go public, I'm sure of it.
Probably,
She ends the letter saying, I would rather be called a narcissist, pain in the arse, arrogant, strange, or whatever else anyone wants to waste their time to think of. Just don't call me a murderer, which I am not. Capital letters. Wow. So she'd rather be all those things, but murder is the worst thing you could be called. But here we are. But you're all those things, Sarah. She's literally mental. She's mental. These letters have not helped her in the slightest. If anything, they have hindered her case. I feel sorry for the attorney that is working with her. So more letters have come out since I've written this, so I haven't obviously included them. So that's it. That's all the information I've got on it. Yeah, so we're kind of waiting now for the trial to start, which we'll probably get even more information on, so we will do an update on that. On the new stuff, we won't repeat ourselves because it's been a lot. I've actually, low-key, I've not enjoyed researching this case. It's been a lot. I don't know why, it was just I just didn't enjoy it this time, but I've done it, we've done it, I'm glad it's over for now. Woohoo. But, yeah, I mean, what do you think of Sarah?
She's a loon. She's Boone the loon.
I just think, I don't think she realises how delusional she is.
No, I don't like calling people crazy, but she sounds crazy.
I just think delusional, narcissistic.
Yeah.
You know, narcissists don't know they're narcissists sort of thing. So she's thinking she's doing and saying the right thing to help her case or whatever. But it just makes her sound like a twat. Sorry, I don't know how else to say it, but saying that she's an above average inmate.
Nonsense, isn't it?
What does that even mean?
No one gives a shit about that. The judge is only going to care about that if that information comes from the prison officer. If the prison officer says, "Oh, she's actually been really good, really nice," blah, blah, blah,
it helps your case when you get to probation.
Yeah, exactly.
Which you're a long way off, love.
Yeah, not whilst you're sitting, wasting away in prison or in.
Well, we don't know yet what she's going to get, but she has to go to prison. I'm sorry, and it's America, so obviously she will.
She's all right. There's the potential for the battered case stuff, but it sounds like they were both being rather violent to each other. From the witness stuff from her neighbours and so on.
Yeah.
And I don't know about this thing that you were saying earlier with the Vincent chat, the neighbour, where there was the period of silence and then there was the big bang down that he considered to be something coming down the stairs and stuff like that. And then when that video came up again that we watched, that was her laughing at him in the suitcase.
Yeah.
He didn't sound like what I expected him to sound like. Now I'm not really sure what I expected him to sound like, but he sounded like he was in pain or in. His voice was high pitched tone. He sounded like he was pleading and in pain. That's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, because he wasn't as the compass mentis. She's in my head. He wasn't saying he wasn't kind of using his words. Obviously, we don't know how he talks normally, but he wasn't Sarah, get me out of here. Why have you left me in here? What's going on? Did he bang his head and he was a little concussed? You know, because he was all he was doing was repeating her name over and over and over, and then obviously saying I can't breathe, I can't fucking breathe. But it wasn't how probably I would just went around just Roger, get me the fuck out of here. What? Why am I in here? How do I get out? I don't know. It did seem.
It seemed weird. It was weird. It wasn't fun. It wasn't. He didn't get in there for
God,
fun.
no. I mean, that went out the window the minute the video came out.
Yeah.
Because that establishes what happened.
Effectively.
You know, and the tone. It sets the tone, doesn't it?
Yes.
He was not enjoying himself at
and she
all. And she was. But I've got a final theory.
Okay. Go.
So, a domestic fight broke out. Don't know why. It could just be because they were drunk. She knocked George out. Strangling him or not, don't know. Shoved him in the suitcase. That one I'm a bit of yum. He woke up. in the suitcase. She wanted to teach him a lesson and scare him. So she left him alone in the suitcase to freak out, basically. But because she was clearly wasted, as you can tell from the video, she then went upstairs to like not be in the same area and then passed out.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Like I suppose when I said knocked him out, maybe hit him on the head.
Yeah, right. That or the strangling thing.
Or the strangling
that she strangled
thing, yeah.
him and he passed out from that because he was drunk. He would have been potentially drunk already. You know, it probably would have been easier to knock someone out. Or she got him so drunk that he just passed out. Maybe she slipped something in his drink. But I don't know.
That'll come out in the autopsy if there's anything in the system.
I wonder though. Potential theory. She thought she poisoned him, puts him in a suitcase to deal with the body. He then
poisoned him?
Yeah.
With what?
I don't know yet. We might find out.
I love how you're just trying out a poison theory.
Yeah. She poisoned him, thinks he's dead, puts him in the suitcase, throws the suitcase down the stairs because she doesn't care anymore, he's dead. And then he wakes up.
Well, that's basically what my theory was before.
Yeah, the rest is the same.
Poisoning.
Yeah, minus the poisoning. But yeah.
But yeah,
I just don't know why. But I just don't know why she put him in a suitcase without.
To get rid of the body.
To me, exactly. That's the only reason why you would put a body in a suitcase or a person in a suitcase is because you're going to move that body without suspicion. That's the attempt.
That's it.
But then why did she phone? Then the husband was phoning her up. The ex-husband, sorry, was phoning her up to talk about the kid, Lucas, whatever his name, Lucas. And for whatever reason, she then ended up telling him.
Well, I think it was because she was so drunk.
She woke up to see.
The thing is, like, when you're drunk as well and things happen that you weren't expecting, and it just snowballs. Yeah, right. Doesn't it?
And yeah,
just one bad decision after another.
Yeah.
I'm not excusing it at all. Yeah, so they're having a fight. That's normal for them. Strangling. She's done it before, but because they were so drunk, did she kind of just accidentally, or maybe he couldn't get her off.
Right.
Yeah, because he was so drunk.
Yeah.
You know, and so she was strangling for longer than normal until he passed out.
And it went too far.
She was so drunk, she thought she killed him. Right. Panic stations. What's near me? Suitcase. Show him in a suitcase. I don't know how that's the only bit that I don't know whether that's really that easy to do.
I don't think putting someone in a suitcase would be that complicated.
He didn't
look like he was a big chap.
No, he was quite
skinny.
Quite thin, yeah.
But I mean, you could once you've got the legs in or whatever, you flip the torso over.
Quite fatty though, isn't it? But you can't. The suitcase doesn't look very big, does it?
I thought it looked bigger than I was expecting it to.
It looks smaller than I was expecting, but it's all perception, isn't it? So But yeah,
well, it's obviously big enough for a grown man. So, and it didn't. The thing is, it didn't look like you could see like his shoulders pushing out the sides of the suitcase or like his.
Did you not see the suitcase move?
Yeah, I saw it move, but it wasn't like so. It wasn't so tightly packed around his body that you could see like.
I think it was
form within it.
Well, I think it was so tight he couldn't move. I think his hands were literally.
Yeah.
Like here, like maybe here, but he could move them to try and push out like that.
Well, he was in it on his side.
No, he was in like that's the bottom, and he was like curled up,
like fetus.
Yeah, on the side. He wasn't like that, was it? He was like
no, yes,
like
yes,
that.
yeah. We're saying the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. So what I'm saying doesn't make sense. But the detectives were saying he was like that, going like that.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Something like that.
Yeah, which I suppose makes sense. But either way, it's absolutely horrific, and we feel for the Torres family because, unfortunately, because this case is so bizarre, his how he died is strange. So it's just broadcast everywhere, like absolutely everywhere, which is just horrible. I did see an interview with his parents, very very brief interview, and they've not seen that video, thank God.
Right.
you know, they've actively, I don't know about like the siblings, but the parents have avoided that. Like, they are older, so I can't imagine they're on like social media or anything, but yeah, so yeah, I just feel for the family really, and for Lucas.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know, I can't remember how old they said he was, but he's going to see that on social media, you know, if and when he gets to that stage, you know. Poor boy. But yeah, we'll update you guys as soon as we can with what happens when the trial starts. Let us know what you think. Please let us know of any cases you want us to cover next. And yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you soon. Bye.